listening to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast.
And away we go. Pete, you know what? I love every time I listen to that new intro, bro. I'm like, yeah, Pete's the bomb, man. Pete,
You're fired up. You're fired up,
Pete,
man.
I am fired up. Welcome back, Leatherhead Nation. Leatherhead Nation is the only podcast in the whole wide world that brings the Firehouse Kitchen table to you guys, all of you right here. As always, joined by my best buddy, pal, lifelong friend, chum. That guy, Ruffy Refrano, 103 truck, 290 somewhere. I don't know where that was. The squad, 117 truck. He's got a long resume. And then producer COVID Pete, Pandemic Pete in the house.
Pete.
Yeah, man.
What? Come on, man.
Come on, man. You got to make those louder, Pete.
Come on, man.
Pete with his fresh new hairdo. He's got the Auschwitz haircut today, bro. We love it. Nice. We're marching him right in the oven.
Like that. That's
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah. So, Pete, before we introduce our esteemed guest, why don't you tell us what we're brought to you by here tonight, bro?
Ladies and gentlemen, you know we're all brought to you by GettinSaltyApparel.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, where you can find the finest firefighter apparel and accessories. Do you want a saw cigar cutter? Do you want a bunker gear toiletry bag? That's right. You can find it right here on GettinSaltyApparel.com.
Holy shit. Golden Pile, you have been reborn hardcore. I haven't even let you serve it.
Picking up
My beloved core.
Disgusting.
200 pounds of chewed bubble gum.
He's been reborn hardcore, Pete. Pandemic Pete's reborn, bro.
Pandemic Pete.
Pete, while you're on a roll there with that announcer voice, why don't you give us the word of the day, bro?
Ladies
Richie
and
don't
gentlemen,
know
the day is Scarecrow.
All right, so Rich, again, I'm just going to let you know I had a lot of birds this whole week. Has been.
Let me introduce our guest. It's Lieutenant Richie Duemig. Am I saying that right, Lou?
Duemig, yep.
Just like it's yeah.
Rich Duemig. Now, you guys want a non-sock salty fireman? We got you a non-sock, non-special operations in the trenches every day, busy firehouse MFer right here. We got him on the show. Welcome to the show, Lou.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice. I'll give you another cheer.
So let's start off. What's the story with the Scarecrow? How did that come about?
Wait, before we get there, before we get to the Scarecrow, I have to just say one thing, bro, before we get into the whole mix of the show. I know how McCartney and Lennon felt tonight, bro. When they would just write songs out of nowhere, they would get inspired. Because I used to say, how do these guys write songs? Then I'm sitting here all by my lonesome.
Hold on,
With of course a glass of Tito's, and I wrote the best Chief Steve song I might have ever written, bro. And I sent it to the boys. I actually called Chief Steve and sang it to him on the phone.
I'm looking at it. It's great.
Of course.
Don't give it away, though. Don't give it away.
Oh, no.
He said I'm an idiot, and then he laughed.
Oh, he's not lying.
No, he ain't lying.
He ain't lying.
I just have to say, before we dive into this thing with Lieutenant Duemig, I had to say, I know how McCartney and Lennon felt when they were
just
out
like
there.
him.
The lyrics came to me. I don't know about the music.
The cash. What about the cash?
I don't know about that yet, but
that's not going to happen either.
Yeah, but let's dive into the Scarecrow right here and how we got the name the Scarecrow.
So how did that come about?
Okay. You may not believe it, and nobody believes it, because right now I'm touching probably my second Firehouse 248 in poundage. When I first got on the job, I was like 125 pounds. When I went to take the physical, I was lifting up a dummy that was my weight. And fortunate for me, I don't know if you guys know the old Armory, Summer Armory, we took the physical there. You had to run up 2 flights of stairs with this dummy, which was just a punching bag, 125 pounds. And I knew if I could get it up on my shoulder, I would probably make it. So lo and behold, I got it up on my shoulder and I ran up 2 flights of stairs, come down, dropped it, and I passed. I did very well. I ended up 505 on the.
You know why, Lou?
Because that's what
men
do.
And
men do.
I was so thin at 224. A guy goes, and my grandmother's nose says, You look like Ichabod Crane. You're a scarecrow, So it kind of,
Yeah.
it kind of
You do
started
look
me
like
around.
Petey. Show that Proby picture. You do look like
Where's this Proby picture? There he is.
There he is.
You're a skinny there. You do have the schnoz working there.
Look at that strapping
Third
guy.
class 78,
Third. Was that the same list as Chief Steve? He got on at 79. So you
Yes. Yeah.
so you had to do the pull-up hold, the wall walk, and all. That was a tough test, man.
Yeah, it was tough, and I was on the 25 pounds thin as a rail.
So I'm just gonna throw this out there: 125 pounds thin as a rail. You beat Hank Millay, Chief Steve. I'm just throwing this out there. You got it before those guys. So you took the same test as those guys, but at 100 and how many pounds?
125.
125 pounds. You smoked those guys.
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah, Hank's in the chat too. Hey, how do you like that, Hank? 125 guy, bigger bones beat you in the physical.
Bigger bones.
Hey, I got a name for this podcast tonight.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Call to the minus.
Cool.
Call to the minus. I mean,
No.
You guys brought me on. Dennis
No, come on.
Donnie Hayes.
Don't sell yourself.
come
short.
on.
Come on.
I mean, no, I'm just saying. I mean, you're talking about major league ball players there, and I'm just like a middle of the road guy.
Rich,
So.
you're
Every
guy in the
firefighter is a major league ball player on this show. We wouldn't have had you on if we didn't have the
All
utmost.
right, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and this will certify whether you're a major league player. You ready? You ready?
Go ahead.
Were you in ghetto firehouses?
Yeah.
Were you in the job in the 70s and the early 80s?
Yeah.
You were. Here's a third question. You ready?
Yes.
Ever been lifted?
Yeah.
You are a major league player, buddy.
Right.
Twice.
Oh, shit.
You're a major league player, Lou. Come on.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
That's as good as it gets right
I
there.
think it was some with group 15 because Louis took my place group 15 and he got
That's
listed.
true.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah.
All right, so let's get it. Let's go back a little bit before you get on the job. What neighborhood did you grow up in? Where you from?
Originally, believe it or not, I was born in Brooklyn, Logan
Lincoln.
Street between Fulton and Atlantic. We moved out to Hollis, Queens, and in 1958, 59, we moved to Roxbury. And not Roxbury, Boston.
Where the
That's
hell was that?
Roxbury.
Roxbury.
And if I say Roxbury, he goes, "Where the heck is that?" So I go, "Breezy Point."
Oh, sleazy.
Yeah, the Irish Riviera.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
not Irish. Everybody goes, "Oh, you see my kids like, oh, a nice little Irish boys and girls." I go, "No, they're German Italian." I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, you can swing it. You can swing a dead cat there and hit a fireman, but
Or an Irishman.
Yeah, there's a ton of firemen here,
So Breezy Point, was your dad on the job? Anybody on the job? What influenced you?
Nobody. That's why probably I ended up in 224 for 5 years.
So nobody on the job. What made you decide to take the test?
Well, I was studying with a bunch of guys actually for the 71 test, and it was killing me when Don Haight come on and said, "Well, we took the test. I was too young, and we got hired." I missed that test, taking it by two weeks. I was 2 weeks too young.
Really?
The test came out, I remember, the third week in September. I was born October 8th, and I was like, oh, I should take this test, And the guys I was studying with all got called. But I look back on my career, and I go, if I was hired in like 74, 75, who knows? I wouldn't have went to 248. I wouldn't have went to 224, 113.
Could have happened, yeah.
Hey,
And I wouldn't back in the day, 90,
Did you take the Delahanty? Did you get the Delahanty book?
No, never.
Not, you know what that was, right? Remember that book that they used to get, the Delahanty book to study?
I never even went to fire tech. I went before the test. The captain in the 248 goes, "Rich, here, take my ticket. Maybe you'll get something out of it the last day."
No, the Delahanty was the company that used to prep you for the fire department test.
The fire department, the physical, and all that. Yeah.
And then until Pudgy Walsh took over the physical department, but that was later. Right. You were probably on before that.
Actually, no, I went to one of Pudgy's things. I did the hang for 2 minutes. So I hung for 2 minutes. He looks at me and goes, "Wow, that's pretty good, kid."
Well, you only weighed $125. You hang for 2 years over there.
Yeah. It's like a pigeon hanging there.
Yeah. You like this? Is this all we got to do? What? Anything else? Pudgy, wow, he was going back that far, huh? I didn't know he went that far.
Yeah.
All right, so when did you actually take the test? You know, the test that you beat Hank Molay and my brother on? What year did you take that?
I think it was 77.
You took it in 77.
Jeez.
And when you went there, did you have bell bottoms on and a Huckapoo shirt? Or?
Platform shoes on when you walked
So
in?
long, I don't remember.
He had the big platform shoes on when he went there, bro.
Yeah,
You had the Walkman with the Bee Gees on?
He had theme music.
Yeah, man. No, you gotta get a little Bee Gees, bro. Staying alive. He was walking down the street. With the in his hand.
Shirt looked like the Wonder Bread circles, right?
Yeah.
He definitely had white socks, though, for sure.
Oh, no doubt. So he gets on in 78, 11/25/78. That might be a full year before Hank Molay got on. I'm pounding him tonight, buddy. You see that? I'm pounding. Oh, look at that guy. Look at that tall drink of water.
Yeah, Eddie Garrity was in the group. Let me see.
Was he? Eddie Garrity was?
Al Robinson was in that class. I think Eula from 111.
Richie Duemig.
Yeah, and I don't know what's his name from Rescue 4 might have been in the class too.
Milner?
Not Milner.
Oh, Murray? No, not Murray.
No, I don't know.
They didn't actually let Jews on until 79, so Murray couldn't have been in the class.
Yeah, I was signed at 248 January of.
You go to 224.
224. Tell us about 224. Where is that at?
Hick Street.
So it's like Brooklyn Heights, or
yes.
What is that? Yeah.
Brooklyn Heights. And the funny part about it, we're all in Proby school. Brooklyn was burning. The city was burning. We go there. All the instructors are going, say, hey, where do you think we're going to go? You guys are going to 290. You're going to 232. You're going to 332. You guys are going to hell. This place is burning. So the order comes down, and myself and another guy, and our list numbers were one in front of the other. He was 504. I was 505. We get assigned to 224. He goes, he catches up and he goes, Rich, where is that place? I go, I know where it is. You know. So I'm like, we were the first probies there in 15 years.
Whoa, man,
really?
Whoa.
I lifted coal barrels out of the basement.
I was going to say,
really?
That's an old. That whole area is pretty old, right? I mean, it's an old area.
I bet they made good pasta on Sundays, though.
Yeah, if we took the flag in, you didn't know the firehouse was there.
I don't think I've ever seen that firehouse, actually.
No?
This is 224, right? When you made that.
We were at a Fifth Alarm Pier fire over in Manhattan for that.
Is that you leaning on the fence? Which guy is you?
That's me leaning on a fence.
Can't you tell the silhouette? Look at he really filled out.
Son of a bitch.
Hey!
And we're there with the captain, Rich Sullivan. He was actually a lieutenant 280 engine back in the day. You know,
What
great
truck
guy.
was it with them?
Great guy.
118 and one.
With us? With 224.
Yeah.
Single engine.
Oh, look at me! I don't know what I'm talking about. Look at me.
The only good thing was when I got there, we were interchanging with 230 engine, and I can remember I was there about a month and a half, and I come into work, and the guys back then we had the Scott mass in a black box, and I come in, the guys are taking a mass out of the black box, they're putting them on the engine compartment. I go, "What are you guys doing?" They go, "We're putting a mass on the back here. We're going to 230 tonight." I go, he says, "Why are we doing that?" He says, "Kid, we're going to a fire tonight." I go, "I've been here for a month and a half. I haven't been to one. What are you talking about? We're going to one tonight."
I was just going to ask you, how long before you went to your first fire over there?
We went to 230 engine. We interchanged with them. And we went to 2 all hands, a third alarm. I had the 6-by. We went out, came back, went out, came back. We come back at 6 in the morning for me to take the 6-by again.
Nice.
I'll never forget. It was unbelievable. I came out of that fire going, do I really want to do this for 20 years? I'm going up the stairs. I'm leaning on a guy from 217. I'm like, and the guy goes, "Get off me, kid." So he goes, "Nobody's got water." Meanwhile, he didn't know, but we stretched him around. I had water, you know. And I hear boom, boom, boom. I go, "What's that?" He goes, "Kid, don't worry. It's just the roof beam pulling in on the top floor." I go, "What?" You know, guys, I'm telling you. Rescue guys diving down the stairs, leapfrogging over my head. I get pushed back to number 3 because the captain goes, "John, get up here. I need the varsity up here." The floors of fire, wind blowing. And finally, one of the guys jumps down. He comes over my head and they need somebody with a mask up there. So I'm like, oh, I got a mask. I'm kind of just hanging, doing nothing. So, because they couldn't move the line. So I go around and thinking, who's there at the top, the bottom of the stairs going to third floors? John Vigiano. So I go, hey, I got a mask. He looks at me, he goes, that's all right, kid. Just stay here. Looking up, the whole thing is roaring. The chief is running in. I don't know what the battalion was, and he's going, what's going on up there? Isn't 224 pushing? I go, Chief, you better come up here and see what's really going on, pushing. It was just an incredible night, and I left there and going, is this what I want to do?
Yeah.
So is that the first time you actually saw any work when you interchanged with 230? Is that the first time you saw work?
Let me tell you, 230 back in the day, you can look it up. They were rocking and rolling.
That's a company you don't really hear that too often.
Actually, Squads was in there with them.
Who was in there with them, Rich? I'm sorry.
One of the squads at the time, I don't know, was 6, 4. I don't know before they disbanded them, but there was a squad in there with them. I mean, the fires those guys went to. I mean, because we'd sit in the firehouse going, listen to the boxes at night, going, there's 300 boxes. There's another one. Oh, we're going to 2:30 tomorrow night.
And
what street were they on, Rich? Where were they?
Park Avenue.
Park and what? Like
Park and Sumner, I think, somewhere up that way.
Oh, they were single engine too, weren't they?
Single engines, 217,
I know exactly where they are, bro. Park. They're not too far from 210 if you go straight down Park.
No, they're not far. No. Right. So they were some. I mean, back in the late 60s, 70s.
Yeah, you don't hear that company. I mean, I know all those companies did work, but you don't hear about. You hear the same companies over and over again. But like you said, those companies were all 217, right? 218, all those companies in that circle there.
Yeah, 217 was another single engine that did a lot of work, man.
All of them were single engines.
I heard a crazy story about 230 engine. They had like a day job, like 4 floors of fire, and 230 went through the whole building, and they're laying out on the roof on the roof, right? I don't know whether the story is true or not, but Freddie Gallagher brings the whole rescue company up to the roof. And this guy named Georgie Day, I don't know if any of the old timers might need him. Maybe Jack knows him. Freddie Gallagher goes to his rescue guys. Guys, I want to introduce every one of you. This is Georgie Day. He was a nozzle man. I mean, it was like that's some tribute coming from Freddie Gallagher Rescue too.
Yeah, man.
He was that impressed with. I guess he knew Georgie from the Navy. I mean, they were on fires all the time.
Right. They didn't know that they're working with the Scarecrow. I can tell you that much.
Hey!
Somebody was asking what an interchange was in the chat. Interchange was when they would take a slower company and send them to the quarters of a busy company for a night tour. They give the guys the busy company rest and let the guys who were in a slow company see some work. So that's what an interchange was. It was pretty prominent in the 70s and 80s, right? I don't know when they stopped doing it.
They're also saying that Lou's internet connection is coal-fired as well.
Nice.
Some of them bitches.
Yes. So I tell you, go to 230. What makes you decide all of a sudden that, like you said, do you want to do this for 20 years? What makes you decide? Because after that, you were like gangbusters going to busy places. What made you decide, like, yeah, this is for me. I want to go to fire.
Well, I'll tell you this. First, there's a lot of background about me leaving 224 and all of that. But I just want to touch on that one picture that shows me with the gear on, Montague Street Fire.
Yeah, I got you.
I want to touch on that because actually Don Hayde was there. He was the officer in 118. And we got a fire there in the second, I think it was a 4th, 5th floor, standpipe job. 118 comes in, they forced the door. So, we standpipe, we did a great job. We hooked up. So the door comes open. I start down the hallway. The fire's coming down the hallway a little bit. So I'm like halfway down the hallway and I'm like, oh, Jesus, this guy's pushing me. I stop, and the guy's leaning on, push me. I go, guy, brother, wait a minute. He thought I was just not going to move, But I said, and all my boots pulled up. You see, my boots are pulled up there. The idiot I am. When you go to a fire once and then don't go for 6 months. All right. So now I get the boots on, pull them up. I go down the hallway. I'm moving down. I get to this living room, dining room. I'm telling you, there's fire everywhere. I mean, it's all red fire. This guy from 118 comes up behind me and he's pushed me. He goes, "Hey, bro, move to the side. I got to get past you." I go, "Past me? Where are you going to go? Let me put the fire out." Right? I hit it. I just start hitting it. This guy runs through the living room to the back. I was like, "Oh my God."
Like you could see him, you could just see his outline like going past you.
I jump into the middle of the room. Boom, boom, boom. I'm knocking the rest of the fire down. If smoke lifts a little bit, and the wife or the husband is in the chair there, forget about it. She's done. All right. Come to find out, and I'm going to tell you the guy's name. The guy's name is Joe Cini. All right. He was a second grade or third grade fireman. All right.
At the
Don
time,
Abe was the officer. I think he could pretty much verify what I said. I'll tell you, 24 years. That's the boldest, biggest thing I ever saw.
He made a grab?
He made a grab. He got the guy out of bed.
Shit.
Grabbed him back to the apartment. He ended up going to medal day.
Really?
No doubt about that.
I'm telling
Well
you.
deserved, no less.
This isn't something I don't think I'm really just blowing it off and blowing it up. I mean, it was amazing. And it's funny because Joe Cini he was actually a fireman in 207 and he was detailed there or overtime.
Is that right?
A fireman in 103 truck. And my friend goes to 103 truck and he's telling me a story. He goes, "Rich, I'm working on 103. I said to boss, listen, Lou, anything special? No, he says, no, listen, you're working with Joe Cini. Just stay with Cini. He'll get you where you got to go. Right. So he tells me, Rich, you can't believe it. We forced the door to this flat. He said, put the tools down. I'm going to put my mask on. Cini is in there. He's got half the apartment covered. He's found the fire already. All right. He said, the guy's amazing. I go, Joe Cini? I go, I know that guy.
I've seen him move that guy already. Yeah.
I watched him walk into the bowels of hell and grab somebody.
He by far is one of those guys that's
Yeah, no doubt, man.
top level.
Real deal.
He was just a natural because I think he grew up in Canarsie.
Yeah. When was he in 103, Ruffy? You didn't work on way before you.
I would say late 80s. Then he got promoted. He actually went and became a lieutenant in 230 engine. And I think he retired out of that.
Oh, he went to 230. Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, he was covering
Joe Cini, legendary lieutenant at 230. Yeah.
Just amazing.
So Rich, like you say, we don't really fluff too many. If you're on the job, right, you don't really fluff too many guys up the way you're doing it, unless you've seen it and it's the real deal, right? I mean,
Louis, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I'm
I get
sure.
back to the firehouse. I go to the guys. I should have grabbed him because I was like, how did this guy know that there was no fire down that hallway to that back bedroom?
Yeah.
That he ran through there, and I was just amazed. I told the guys the fire.
Rich, is it something? Is it something that he could have seen from outside? You know what I mean, like the windows.
Upstairs. This is a 6-7 story old.
Right.
Yeah, that's instinct, man.
I was just going to say that.
Some guys are born with that, bro.
You get 100 guys, right? You get 100 guys. 10 of them are like that guy.
Yeah.
80 are in the middle of the road, and 10 suck, right? Yeah. I mean, those are the 10 guys. That's the Clee House guys. Those are
how it is really is 10 suck. Tell me how you really
suck. I mean, but that's really the truth. It's
like in a pro class, like you're going to get that elite.
That's what you're going to get. You're going to get maybe five of those guys. Like really top shelf guys like that really aggressive.
Don Hayde was the officer. I think he was promoted from Manhattan 26 something.
Yeah, Mike Kelly just said it's called balls, but it's more than balls. It's an instinct that some guys have, man. That know.
Yeah, Glenn Harris. Like you say to yourself, who do you want coming for you? Right. That's probably one of those guys.
One of those guys, and some of these guys are just natural at it, and it's amazing. But to get back to me going to 248.
That's what I was going to say. What made you decide?
I had a year and a half on the job with somebody. I said, listen, I got to go, The guys used to say, what the hell's the matter with you, kid? So I put a paper in to go. I put a bunch of companies, 255, 157, all the Flatbush companies who were fairly busy, 248, everybody. So lo and behold, Lieutenant comes up one day and he goes, oh, Rich, got a call from 255. You're on the order.
Wow.
You're on the order. Right? He asked me what kind of guy he was, what kind of guy you were. He said, listen, the guy just wants to learn the job, so on and so forth. So the order comes down. Richie Duemig is not on the order. I'm not on the order. All right. So I'm like, all right, that's it. The job wants me to stay here, do nothing. I was almost went over the barrel and started screaming, like, why don't you give me, you want me to learn this job? You want me to be able to put out a fire? So I kind of threw in the towel on. I said, all right, I'm going to sit here for 20 years and that's it. Right. So lo and behold, about 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years later, the captain of 255 is working in 224 for a day tour, and I'm working with him. He goes, Richie Duemig. He goes, you're the guy that was supposed to come to my company. He said, and you're relief chauffeur now. I need chauffeurs. He said, I need people. All right. He said, Rich, I know you got screwed. You're supposed to come. Put your paper in. I'll endorse it.
Really?
You'll be on the next order. Okay. So I go up to the lieutenant. He says, I put a paper in. So I was just going to put 255. He goes, Rich, don't put 255. He says, you want out of here? You're liable to end up in City Island. They'll say, oh, the guy wants out. I put the paper in. I put 255, 157, 248, I think 147, 174. The order comes down. Richie Duemig goes to his third choice, 248 engine. All right?
Oh, shit. Really?
All right.
Hey, that's your third choice. That's a great place.
I go there, and I can't believe it, but I'm
That's
happy.
a great place. Yeah, that's a great place,
I
man.
get to 248, my first day tour, Sunday day tour,
Ripping.
14 runs in a job.
I'm sure.
I'm in my glory there. All right. Be honest with you, I learned the job in Flatbush in 248. I work with great officers. I mean,
they're in a great spot.
Rich,
They're in a great spot there.
You still didn't answer my question. What was it when you first came back from interchange at 2:30 when you said, I don't know if this is for me? What was it that changed your mind that said that you wanted to go to fire? What was it?
I don't know. I just was antsy, and I guess you know what? It kind of led me like, as bad as I thought that all was, it wasn't so bad, So I mean, and I even had some burns, like the fire was coming down the hallway around I go, geez, my neck hurts, like I was burnt, But it was a different thing, and I had some motivation, but man, after that, I didn't get on that order. And I think, somebody who was in a company didn't like and went to another company. I even tried to go to 148. A guy wanted to come down to Brooklyn Heights. I tried to do that. They had a swap then. You could do a swap. I called the guy up. I said, listen, brother, I'll do the swap, but you want to come to 24? I'll go to 148. So he goes, okay, Rich. He talks to his captain. Captain goes, I talked to the captain. He said he would never approve something like that. And I was like, all right, the hell, that's how frustrated.
So that's what I'm saying too. Is you get frustrated. He tried to go to 255. He's trying to do these things to get out of there, and it just after a while you say to yourself, maybe it's not meant to be. But to go to 248, the 4-1 is in there. Who was the Chiefs there? Do you remember? Who was
Craig Gallagher, Pete
was Pritchett there?
Eisman.
Was Pritchett there?
Pritchett's after me.
After that, yeah.
I remember he was a lieutenant and a captain down Rogers Avenue, But
what about the Scarecrow? Is he there?
Hey! Cheers, buddies.
But they're in a perfect spot there, 248, right?
One thing about I look back at my career, I even had a lieutenant that was all pissed off because he didn't get a spot. And I told him my tale of woe. I said, brother, let me tell you something. If it's going to happen, it's just meant to be. And I told him my tale of woe about this. And then it was other things about, covering all that. And he looks at me and goes, Rich, I feel pretty good at you, Tom. Because he came from Manhattan, 30 truck, covering in the division, couldn't get a spot. I said, brother, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. And I said, like my career, I always felt like, man, I swear, I think I was guided by the Almighty because the way things worked out my whole career, even like it's unbelievable how I ended up in 290, because I was supposed to be on the order. I wasn't on the order. So,
again.
We'll get to that. Hold on, we'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to that. But
so
okay.
248, your first tour, you go 14 runs and a job. How long are you in the engine before you say, I think I want to go to the truck?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. 248, it was a tough place to leave, We were all hoping it was a truck in quarters with us, because it was just, when you're going to fires and, you got the nozzle, and all those guys are behind you going,
You had a,
hey,
you had a truck there? No.
No. Actually, 113 did come when they were working on the floor, and the guys.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Oh, I hung in there. I was there 5.5 years, and then I was lucky. I passed the lieutenant's test, and I said, you know what? I better find out where all those truck guys go all the time. So I transferred down.
What is this? This is 113 or
113? And the funny part about that is I put a paper in, and I go, you know what? There is nobody on this job, I think, with 11 years that's looking to go to 113 truck, And I felt good because I'm saying to myself, you know what? If I want to go to 111, if I want to go to 175, I could probably get there because I got the time now,
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going to 113 and people say, I told me, hey, I was in the truck 18 months,
Well, why'd you pick 113 then?
Well, one of my friends, Tommy Dowdell, had gone up there. We kind of ran in with them a lot,
right?
Well,
they're on Rogers, right? Rogers,
yeah. And they ran up.
Where was 248? What street were they on?
Snyder Avenue.
Oh, they're on Snyder. Okay.
They're on the opposite side of the park, right there.
Snyder and Ocean. And 113 is also part of the big three. 113, 123, 132.
Hank will be happy to hear you say that. 132, the big three.
Covering captain going, wow, this is great. He had like the spot. That's the trucks. He goes, I work in the big three.
They got a lot of brownstones over there, man.
Yeah, they got everything. Queen Anne's, brownstones.
Where's that? By 113?
Yeah.
Oh man, they have so many different buildings over there. Yeah.
One thing we didn't have was a lot of vacant buildings.
Were you eating on the ping pong table?
In 113. No, they had circles.
Yeah, that place was crazier than 103, I think, when it came to filth.
Oh my God. What a time working there. I remember one time we had this dog, Dan the dog, and 280 and 132, they come down and they kidnapped him. All right. So they take him back up to the quarters and they call us up on the phone. They talk. All right. Hey, we got Dan the dog. So the guy goes, yeah, if you got any balls, you'll cut his head off and send it back to us in the mail. 10 minutes later, they both come down. Get this flea bit mud out of here. Fleas all over the firehouse now.
So what was the whole story with that 113 where they used to throw the food on the floor? Or what was the story with that?
103 did that too, but 113 was crazy. They ate on a ping pong table, right? If I remember.
Crazy. One guy used to sleep in the pool table in the basement. I mean, it was just. Talk about senior guys. I remember a lieutenant comes by. He's looking at the riding list. I was a junior man with 11 years. The can man had 19. The irons guy had 21. The Yofi had, it was just, he goes, this is unbelievable. He says, I'm used to working in places. The senior man's got 5 years. And it goes right down from there, He said, this is unbelievable,
So I guess you learned truck work pretty fast there.
Yeah, I'm still learning truck work though. You
never stop learning. I covered in 113 for a couple of tours, and I remember one thing that stuck out for me from that house was that I think a couple of the nights that I was there, a bunch of senior guys showed up there that were retired to play cards. Like they were still showing up.
Yeah.
Like consistently, like a lot of guys, not like one guy or two guys. I don't know if they still do that, but I remember a bunch of guys. They had 8-10 guys show up, and they were having card games, and it was really cool.
Yeah, that's an old fire. That's one of the ones that say Brooklyn Firehouse on the outside. Man. Yeah,
I can tell you a story that allegedly happened. We had a day tour. We had a card game going.
Could have happened. Maybe happened. I heard it happened.
This Brooklyn dispatcher who buffed over there. He went down about $200. So he goes, "I'll be back." He leaves to go to the bank, right? So all of a sudden you get boop boop. 113 relocate 170. All right. So we go to 170. All right. We're hanging out there. So lo and behold, Dave comes back. He goes to the engine. Where's the truck? He goes, oh, they relocated 170. 170. I'm down $200. He calls CEO. Get those guys back here. All right.
Oh my God, that's great.
All of a sudden, you hear on the radio, boop. 120, relocate to 170.
Well, we don't know that this happened, but it could have happened. It maybe happened.
Allegedly.
Which shows you how much juice the dispatchers had.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's freaking great.
Yeah.
That's
Where did Warren buff? Did he buff in 113 or no? Was it?
No,
157, right.
157, I think.
Molay is saying that they drew circles on the table for plates, and that's how you ate.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, 103, 290, 103 is probably the filthiest place, but 113 is it's pretty close. I mean, I don't know if it's changed now.
Well, now the place is cleaned up a bit.
Yeah, it's cleaned up.
I heard it's different. Yeah, he's saying that Casano was a lieutenant in 113. It was the chief.
I was there. He was, I ran in with him. I know him. Yeah. Good guy.
You know what? Heavy D worked there too. He said by the time
he was lieutenant there.
He said that whole thing wasn't working for him with the throwing the food around. That's why he went to 176.
They did have a lot of senior guys there. I don't know.
A lot of guys passed through there. Some great find.
Right.
I worked with a guy there, Larry Brennan, captain. Oof, he was one of those guys. I think he was a rescue guy, 123 guy. It was very easy working with Larry. All I had to do is hold on to his coat, and he got me wherever I had to be. All right. I mean, just a super fireman. We had a job when Larry was on vacation, and this one I'll never forget. It mentally it didn't do me good. We get a job. 234, 123 had a job. They're all out. 234 ended up having a fireman as a lieutenant acting, so we get a run up there by them, and it's a job. It's fire in the store. As we're getting off the rig, I got 3 people pulling at my coat. There's people trapped up there. I mean, me and the captain, who was a covering captain at the time, So they're pulling at my coat. I'm okay. So we get over to the building, and senior guy, Bruce Pete, was working. He had the eye inside the can. And I go to Cap, what are we doing? I says, are we going to go up? Are we going to, stay on the first floor at the end? Like, what are we doing here? And what happens is we came around the back side of it, 234 borderline there, and there was a wooden stair went up to a platform, and then another 4 or 5 stairs going up to the apartment. And under that platform, there was a window, and the fire was blowtorching out of that. All right. So the captain, I think maybe he was just row, whatever. But so I go, so Bruce goes, Richie, come on. So we go in. He says, "Come on, we'll force the door for 235." So we got this. They got a wire door. This is like a clothing store or something. So he says, "Richie, you stay." We forced the door. I got the door. He says, "You stay here with 234. I'm gonna go up. Try to go upstairs." All right. So 234 comes in with the line. I throw the door open. I'm in there with the hook, working with 234. Blah blah blah. I talked to Bruce later. Bruce, he went up there once, had to come down. He went up again, and it kind of bothered me because I got back to the fires. I said, maybe I shouldn't have been down with 234. Maybe I should have went up with Bruce. Maybe we get the door. Personally, it probably, now that I think back on those people, are probably gone already. But Bruce says to me, he goes, Rich, if Larry Brennan was working, 2 things would have happened tonight.
Oh, shit, yeah.
You and I would be going to Medal Day, and we'd also be in the burn center.
Yeah.
You as well as I,
It does depend on who's standing in front of you. It does depend on it. Right.
Larry was just, he's another one of those guys who was up there, and I'm sure Jack, he might have worked with Cleos.
Garrett Lindgren said he worked with him as lieutenant in 123.
Yeah, just a super fireman. But Larry was straight down the road. You don't show up for roster staffing, charges. You're late.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you. Matter of fact, I had to write charges up on a guy. Guy doesn't show up for roster staffing. I go, Cap, listen, I'm going off. I work for him. No charges. Meanwhile, I had the house watch, so I had to verify, help write up the charges. I'm like, oh my God, but I could deal with that because you know what? Working with Larry Brennan, I was a better fireman day in and day out. All right. Yeah. I mean, he was telling you about like cutting gates and do this and Rich, you got to do that, But I got another funny story. They get a fire, second floor. The roof man is Charlie Kawas, another class act, and they're up there. The captain's up there on the top floor. They're pulling ceiling stuff, and all of a sudden, Charlie Kawas appears. The captain says, "Charlie, how'd you get here? There's no fire escape in the back. How did you get here?" He goes, "Oh, Cap, I climbed down the drain pipe." What? Yeah, I think shimmy down the drain pipe, come in the window.
Shimmy down the drain pipe. That's happening nowadays, right?
He was a short guy. They said he grew up in Park Slope. There was a 4-story grammar school there. They said when the kids used to hit the balls on the roof, Charlie
Go up there.
climb the drain pipe and get the balls off the roof from.
How many times we lose a ball on the roof, Coop?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But another quick story.
That's great.
We got a vacant building, and the 3A battalion's there. I had the roof, and before I go up there, the guys, "Listen, Rich, we had a lot of fires here. Just be careful up there. I got the saw, but I get up there, this hole's all over the place. One room fire. I think 280 knocked it out. So we all come down with like overhaul and doing this, that, and the chief from the 3A is there, and he's leaning on the wall. And he's telling us, guys, we've got vacant building. You got to be careful, blah, blah, blah. And so there's like 8 of us standing around, listening to him. And behind him is Charlie Kawas with red nail polish. And he's painting the chief's nails as he's leaning on the wall. All right. Charlie was so good at that. You could be talking to a guy with your hand on the table. He'd have your nails painted like that. All right.
That's freaking awesome.
Now the chief is real serious about the operation, and we're all looking, and we're trying not to. How could you not laugh? Charlie's right on.
Munding is good at that. So,
so he gets his whole hand in nails, right? So the chief doesn't know it until he's driving back to the firehouse, and the 8 finally says to him, "Hey, chief, nice nails."
Shit.
The nails, they're beautiful. Red, dark red nail polish.
Mundinger would go at the parties, right? He would go through the parties and
I'll tell you,
stick forks in your pocket, right? You wouldn't even know that they were in there. And then you go home and you'd find like a pocket, full of, a knife or a spoon or something. That's funny that he could do that. Nobody would ever find out.
Charlie had such a touch you couldn't believe. And a great guy, good fireman. He came from 131 to 113. What a cast of characters over there at 113. But I'll tell you, there was a lot of great firemen there.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Hank is asking if there was a brother in 113 who got shot in the foot forcing the gate at a Chinese takeout.
Yeah, I wasn't at the fire, but yeah, he got shot in the foot.
How did that happen?
DW, Dennis Williams. All right. They were forcing the gate. They had the guy locked in the store overnight because that's what they used to do.
Right? They used to do that all the time, right? Yep.
The guy threw a couple of rounds through the door and shot him in the foot.
Thought they were breaking in.
Yeah, but Dennis was a funny guy. One morning he made a rescue off duty. So I don't know, he stepped across a window, got a woman out, blah, blah, blah. There's only one problem. It was his girlfriend's apartment.
Oh my God. You lit it up?
It's all over the news. This guy, our fireman did a great job rescuing. I guess he told me he was working, and I was at the girlfriend's house.
Oh God! Holy great!
Nice guy,
stories. Yeah.
Actually, he was the guy that didn't show up for a Rasta, and
charge his ass.
Yeah, he hooked him up.
Hook his ass up. Good. Hook him up. That's what I say. Hook them all up.
Yeah.
So you got promoted in 91 after is it 91? No, 94. 94?
Right. No, 91. 91. I got promoted from 113.
All right. Okay. I got promoted from 113, and then you covered in Division 12.
Right.
For 3 years?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole nother story, me covering over there. I told. Tell
the guys where 12th Division is, but what area?
The 12th Division at that time was located in 172. Earlier, it was located, I think, in 242 Engine over on 4th Avenue in Brooklyn. Then it was at 172 and 65th Street. But I told Louis, or I mentioned it one time. I put out that Dave Weiss. You know Dave Weiss? He was
Rescue One. Yeah.
Well, Dave was a fireman there, And one day he comes in, And he goes, I was just covering. I just started there. I didn't even know Dave. And he comes in and goes, hey, Lou, well, yeah, I was at this thing over there in Queens on the station platform. What's the big Queens platform there? Junction or something? Queens.
Yeah, Junction.
Right?
Junction Boulevard.
So he comes in with a paper. He says, yeah, I got, the chief, I worked there. The chief, gave me his information. Boom, boom. So, okay, Dave, So I call up the chief and I said, Chief, what's the story? Dave Weiss was there. He says, oh, my God. He says, yeah. He said, a guy jumped in front of the train, all right, was run over by 2 cars. He said, this kid with the power on crawled under the train, grabbed this guy out, first aid. The guy's alive today, all right?
And that's why Dave went to Rescue 1.
I was like, what? Well, I'm going to try to speed it up. But so I get this thing, and I'm a lieutenant, How do you write up a meritorious act for an off-duty guy, So I go in the regulation. I'm looking up. First, it's supposed to be the captain's job, right? I don't know where the captain was or anything. So I take on this thing of writing data, right? So I call a motorman, all right? I call a motorman. This guy almost jumps through the phone. He says, Lieutenant, I cannot. He says, I'm yelling at this guy. Don't do it. The power's on. He said, this guy's arm was flailing off the top of the box of the 3rd rail. He said, the power was on. This guy crawled down there, took his arm off the rail. He said, I cannot believe what he said. He drags him 2 cars out. The guy was like crazy through the phone. He was just unbelievable. Right. And the guy, he also lived, and, I reached out to the chief. I did a little history so I could write this thing up for Dave, and I think I even got the family, and they were just so happy that their brother or whatever was alive, So I write this thing up, and it comes down on the order. Dave Weiss gets an A, all right? So I'm like, an A medal? I said, to me, I don't know much about medals and stuff like that. I'm an engine guy. I'm thinking minimum 3, maybe a 2, right?
Yeah.
I was off duty, right? So I'm thinking, he worked in a busier truck, maybe he would have got recognized better and all that. And then I'm thinking, you know what, Rich? He had an idiot writing it up. Okay, so that's probably what. All right. So
he didn't go to creative writing class.
I kind of apologized to Dave. I said, Dave, listen, I'm sorry. Maybe if I wrote up different, read better. So lo and behold, the Transit Authority has their, day for heroes. All right. So Dave gets called down. Guys from the firehouse come. He says, Rich, I'd like to have you come down. All right. So we go down and they have a little brunch. We're at the transit headquarters, and the guy gets up and now reads what everybody does. Right. Word for word, this guy reads my write-up, word for word. All right? I go, hey, maybe I'm not so stupid. I said, probably, if it was that bad, the guy would have thrown it out.
He was like, we're not reading this.
So, it was a nice day for everybody. I think we went out to lunch, and Dave at least got. I was like pissed off. I wanted to call somebody and say, you know what? Transit Authority thought a lot about what Dave didn't, but you guys didn't, So nobody was happier than me than when Dave got that rescue and went to medal day, because
when he jumped in the water.
Yeah, right.
He damn well deserved it for what he did off duty that day, and it was really something. That's why I always kind of said, you know what, everything goes around, comes around.
Yeah,
somebody's watching over you, and you get what you got coming to you.
You know who I hope's watching over me?
Who's that?
The Scarecrow.
There you go.
Hey! Scarecrow.
I have 2 more quick covering stories.
Yeah, do it.
Covering stories? There he is.
I'm a new lieutenant, just promoted. I go to a firehouse. I don't want to mention any names or anything. And it's roll call. I call the roll. And one guy's missing. All right. My nozzle guy, and he's the probie. All right. So I go to one of the guys in the house watch. I go, listen, guys, roll call. I want to find out where this guy is, So this guy comes out of the back kitchen and he's dancing and he goes, here I am, Lou. He's kind of doing juggle and all that stuff.
A probie? He's a probie?
He's a probie. All right. So
really?
I go, hey, listen, how's my rig? He goes, don't worry, Lou. It's great. I worked today. I checked it out this morning. All right. He says, we got a fire. Don't worry about it. All right. So I got the truck guys here, all the engine guys, and they're all kind of giggling like, hey, look at the probe. He's running ship shot on the new lieutenant. All right. Because they don't know where I'm from. I'm there. Right. So I go, listen, kid, everything's good with the engine? He goes, yeah. I go, I guess I gotta let you know, 15 minutes ago, I took every nozzle off that engine. There is not one nozzle on that engine. I said, and the standpipe kit, not there. It's gone. So I go back to writing my roll call, you know. So now the giggling stops. The guys behind me and everybody hang out to watch. You see you guys? There's no more giggling. All right. You can hear a pin drop. So he goes, what? The kid goes, what, Lou? You didn't. I turn back to him. I go, yeah, I did. You know? So I go back to writing a roll call. I'm letting everybody, all the men in the company and this kid, he's floating out there, right? So I turn back. I go, I didn't take the nozzles off the rig, but you didn't know that, did you? I said, all right. But I'm saying all the guys in the truck, the engine are probably going, this guy's a nut. All right? So,
ain't lying.
And it was funny because before I let him know that I didn't, I said, listen, you're the nozzle guy, Ty, right? He goes, yeah, Lou. I said, well, we're going to fire you. Put your finger over the end of the hose. I said, we'll probably get it that way.
Yeah, no worries.
So the kid, now what happens is gangbusters now. All the guys were giggling. You stupid, blah, blah, blah. Get your ass out there. I want you to check that rig. This is the summer. If there's snow chains on that rig, you better check them. All right. Now, what happens is all the other brothers now, saws start going on. He's saying to himself, this covering boss is only here for 2 weeks vacation. He's going to leave here going, wow, there's a bunch of hairbags work over there. You know?
Man. Yeah, no doubt.
So, I finished writing roll call. I go past this kid. He's got flares out. This engine is a part. All right. I said, oh, by the way, you don't have to check the mass. I did mine already. Everything up front's good. All right. So I go back, get a cup of coffee. All right. So I'm in there 10 minutes. So I come back out. The kid's got every compartment open. So I go, listen, how's my engine now? He goes, hey, Lou, it's good now. And he said, and he got it. What I was happy about, the kid got it. He says, Lou, I want to apologize. He said, I was way out of line. I said, listen, kid, you're a probie. All right. Develop good habits. They're going to stay with you the rest of your life on this job. Okay. I said, do you think I wanted to make an ass out of you in front of all the men? I said, I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. I'd have been happy just, taking you out, going on. I said, but you put my back against the wall. You were trying to make a jackass out of me, And he goes, Lou, I really apologize. He says, you're absolutely right. And it's never going to happen again, And I felt so great about that. And then you start saying to yourself, that's why I'm in this firehouse tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I just might have just instilled something on somebody's guys.
Maybe he wasn't getting it from the house. Maybe he needed somebody to shake him loose a little bit.
The guys did a lot of running there and stuff like that. They did catch fires. And, they probably thought like, oh, we're okay, And it was really something to work out,
That's good. I've done that a few times like that. Something similar.
My other covering fire story is one night I'm working 254 engine. I want to mention them because this is a great story. Avenue, right? Most guys even today probably say, oh, slow outfit, I bet you talk some guys go, those guys, So we go filling out a 1075 on Avenue P, I think it was. So we pull up to the front of the building. There's nobody there. I'm like, where is everybody? There's like there's a hose line going down an alley to the back in the dark. All right.
Where is everybody?
The two truck guys are there. And I go, where is everybody? They go, oh, no, they're in the back. We don't know where the fire is. I said, you know where the fire is? I said, well, you get a damn saw, start cutting the gates, start opening the basement. They go, oh, saw's out of service. I go, I don't care what you do. Get a knife, get this thing open, So I go to my guys, 254. I said, listen, guys, go to the back to the engine, get a line over here, get some tools, right? So the chauffeur had come across. He's already hooked up. This guy, I was with a crew that, let me tell you something, we would have put anything out that night. So they come over with the line. He comes over with the tools, hands me the tools. We start working on the gate. He goes, Lou, whenever you're ready, I'll break the line. You're going to have water like that. All right. We get the gate open, right? we get it open. I get one side open. I can't get the other side open. It's only half and it's narrow. All right. So I mask up, and when we open this gate, it's coming out black square. Like you stand there, and I know Louis probably wouldn't like this going, I don't want to go down.
I don't want to go in there.
Well, as I am now, so I'm going, you ready? To the kid that's got the nozzle. He goes, yeah. I go, all right, come on, let's go. As I'm kind of shimmying down this thing, I'm looking at who's coming down the street. Rescue 2 squad.
I knew you were going to say that.
All right? Rescue 2 squad 1. And I can read, you ever read a guy's face? Shit, I don't want to go down there. All right.
I'm going to go down there, but I don't want to go down there.
So we go down there, we get in, we're going in, we move in, I find a fire like 10, 15 feet in, we're working on the fire. With that, the rescue 2 guy goes, 254. I go, yeah, what? He goes, there's a Mayday out. We have a man missing. All right. That's what he says to me. I grab a hold of Nozzleman's coat and we go around this basement. I mean, we're around lollycoms, climbing over pipes, climbing over soda machines. We went on a whole basement. We went to the right, to the left, and finally get to the back wall, and I'm like, okay, and as we get to the back wall, now I know, okay, I've covered this whole basement, all right? I can't find this guy. With that, they call out, oh, listen, the guy's been found. The kid was out, probably changing his mask, right? So with that, the battalion calls me, says, hey, 254, can you bring the line back? It's lightening up here. Lighten up here to put the fire out. I go, Chief, I think you're going to get into the line because we went I said, there's no way we're bringing this line back, So I said to the guys, listen, shut the line down. The side door was there. So this thing's over. Come on, we'll go out, take a blow, then we'll break the line and do what we got to do, But there was no greater pleasure than me coming out of that basement with those guys standing there in the street, and the 2 bosses, one from Rescue 2 and Squad 1, come over to me and they go, hey, 254, what a job. And they knew if that guy was missing, we would have had him. All right. And never mind, we put out the fire, So, and I felt great for the guys, because, some of these slower companies that people look down like, Hey, listen, you're as only as good as the 5 guys that are working on that tour. I don't care where you're working. All right. But I get back to quarters, we get everything going. The phone rings. Hello, department phone. It's a 3-3 battalion. He said, Lou, I got to tell you, you did some job at that fire. I said, whoa, Chief, stop right there. I said, not me. I said, the members of 254 did some job there. I said, I was just along for the ride, I mean, the chauffeur coming over with the tools hooked up.
Yeah, how everything worked out. They were squared away.
And I felt good for the company. I felt good for the guys. Chief goes, okay, Lou. He says, do me a favor. Go down and tell the guys what a great job they did, and I did, and you feel good as an officer, like, hey, you accomplished something. So
yeah, I think I've always done that. No matter how much time I had or where I worked, it didn't always have to be, the squad or,
right.
if my own company, if guys did a great job, I always made sure to go and say, hey, dude, that was a freaking ripping job. You did a great job there. You know what I mean? Like, not many people could do that.
Getting a thumbs up from guys in the squad and rescue that have been to 100,000 fires.
All right, see a guy come through there.
To me, that's better than getting a medal.
Especially the young guys. If you see a young kid on the nozzle.
Yeah. I mean, they came over and right away said, "Woof, what a job!" And
it's great.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
All right, let's get to the 290 days, bro. How do you get to the spot?
2 hours.
How do you get to the spot 290?
All right, that's another story.
What'd you do wrong?
He ain't lying.
Originally, the 12th Division says to me, I was UFO for a while on 172. He says, Rich, listen, I want you to take the spot. Do me a favor, take the spot. Listen, 2 years, I'll get you back to 15th Division. I'll get you a nice truck for 15th Division. Blah, blah. I said, Chief, listen, I don't know what I want to do, but I don't think this is it. All right.
What spot did he want you to take?
172 truck. All right. And the guys were good there. There was some guys. So I said, Chief, I said, there's probably a guy out there that wants to come here, be in a company, whatever. So he goes, well, Rich, you're going to, be carrying a bag again. I said, that's all right. I'll carry the bag, but I got friendly 188s. He goes, Richie, don't worry about it. when something opens up in a good company, he says, I'll get you right over there. You know? So what happens is 166 opens up in Coney Island, which was great because if there was any fires in Coney Island, you were there.
They were going to it. Yeah, Coney Island was like its own little thing.
At 12 o'clock at night, the boardwalk boxes started all the way down to Brighton Beach, and we didn't go. So it was great, you know. So what ends up happening, I had a bad December. First thing I do is I'm 2 away from getting lifted to the Rock, all right, for training. They took officers, right? So it was like on a, you know, wherever you sat in seniority. So I'm like 2 away, all right? Lo and behold, the guy that was supposed to go all of a sudden comes up sick, all right?
Oh, what a shock.
So this is the end.
Oh, my arm.
This is like December 22nd. So I'm like, son of. I called up the division. I said, why am I going? He said, well, Lou, the guy went sick, so you're up next. Oh, so I was furious, right? So then I put a paper in, and plus I'm working Christmas Eve. So then I put a paper in. You know, my friend Pico says, Rich, it's an opening at 290. I think you'll fit right in over here. So I says, all right. So I put a paper in for 290, and I put in for 166 truck. All right. The order comes down. I don't go to 290, and 166 gets taken by a junior lieutenant. So
wow, you really are getting screwed.
I'm getting lifted the 1st of January. So I'm one night I got a half a jig. I called the 12th division. I get the division commander on the phone. I said, Chief, if you don't want me in your damn division, he said, I'll leave here. He says, Rich, what are you talking about? I said, I didn't get 290. I said, I had in for 166. And this kid got the spot. He said, Richie, listen, I wouldn't hesitate to endorse you for any company in this whole division. But he said, I got a call that you were on the order to go to 290 engine. All right.
Again, holy shit, that happened to you before.
I don't know why you didn't go there. All right. I come to find out that first of all, they lift Tony Variella out of 290. The only lieutenant that was working at the time because it was three spot, right? They lift Tony Variella out.
We're gonna have him on the show, by the way. Go ahead.
And they look down at my paper. All right. They go, 113. We just lifted a guy. We can't send a guy from 113 to 290. Are you people nuts? So my name came off the order. All right. So now Freddie Gallagher, I said, first of all, I talked to Freddie Gallagher, and I also talked to his wife because I knew her from a cousin lived by me down the beach, and I know Freddie from working in the firehouse with him, you know. So it was funny. We have some metal day or something. She goes, Rich, what are you doing with yourself? You know, so I'm trying to get 290. You want to go to 290? Just come on. She runs me over to some staff chief. We got to get this kid to 290 engine. You know? What ended up happening was Freddie Gallagher, you know, went to a division meeting, and Artie Messbauer, and Freddie goes to him, listen, just because a guy worked in 113, you cannot mark him with everything else going on over there. All right.
I mean, you can, and you should. You should, but not in this case.
And he did. And what ended up happening was I did 6 months over at the Rock teaching chauffeur training. And then in June, I ended up going to 290 engine, you know, and 90.
Who was the bosses there, Rich? When you got
me. It was just me. Variali got promoted, and the captain, you know, transferred out to Queens, you know. But this is my first day going to 290 engine. I walk in the door, and who do I run into? This guy, Billy Lanigan, right? So I walk in the door. I go, hey, Richie Duemig, I'm the new lieutenant, 290 engine. The guy stopped. He goes, oh, you lifted here? I go, no. I go, no. I put in for 290. He goes, let me get this right. Out of all the firehouses in the city of New York, you put a paper in to come here? 290? I go, yeah. He goes, you, sir, are an idiot. I was like, you know what? I belong.
Yeah, I belong here.
My place, you know.
Eisel did that. He drew, I think it was one of my first weeks. He drew a graph on the blackboard, right? All the guys were in the kitchen. He's like, yeah, you want to see Rafano's chart? He's like, gets on the job, right? He's like, you know, goes to 117. He puts a little arrow up, you know, then he goes, you know, goes to squad 288, goes up, gets promoted to lieutenant. He's like, gets assigned to 290. Like the whole thing came straight down.
I know.
Hey, Pete.
Yo,
put a close up on Rich.
hold on. Okay. So now what? Oh, he's
Scarecrow.
Oh my God. He's walked out. I don't know. He's walking around somewhere. This guy, Mama Lucian.
Who were the bosses in the truck there, Rich, when you went there?
Jack Mooney, Kevin Schamberger.
Oh, Schamberger.
John Plant and Jimmy Rogers.
Chief Plant.
Yeah, and
Jimmy Rogers, he's a great guy, man.
Yeah.
I like that guy so much.
Jimmy was good. Jimmy was the 248 guy too, Jimmy. But after I got there, who comes along about 4 weeks later was Stackpole, Timmy Stackpole to 290. All right. So he goes, so after he's there about 2 or 3 weeks, he goes, Richie, this place is great. He said, the guys are all sober. And he said, all they want to do is go to fights. All right. And they turn out. So I said, Timmy, keep it under your hat. Because if this word gets out to what kind of place this is, you're going to have all these chief's sons coming over here. And that's what we're going to have to deal with, you know? Then Jimmy Ritchie's came and Mike Carbone. And
oh, my God. Those are the best. You hit it perfect.
Big Daddy comes to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm senior lieutenant, you know? And I knew Jimmy for years. He says, hey, Rich, got this guy wants to come. Putting in for 290, you know? So he's like, well, what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. I said, what do you want to do? You want to bring him in, sit him down? What are you going to ask him questions about? You know, hey, where did you work and all that stuff? So I go, Jim, does he want to be here? He goes, yeah. I didn't know Mike from Adam. I go, that's good enough for me. Get him here, you know? And he was just actually when in the men's ratings, he was number one.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was 7.
Yeah, that's actually Bizel had said. How come when they did the lieutenant's ratings, you were number 7?
Well, that's a great story too, because I come in on a night tour one day and I go in the kitchen, 8 hours just starting. I look on and they go, hey, Lou. They're pointing to the board. All right. Carbone was 1. Big Daddy was number 2. Donovan, I think, was 3, blah, blah, so on down the road. Right. Come to me. I'm 7. Jack Mooney is number 8.
7 out of 8. Not so good.
So I go upstairs. I kick open the truck door office. All right. Jack Mooney's in. He goes, Rich, what's the problem? I go, what's the problem? I said, did you see what the men did down there? By the way, Jack is, what did he do now?
What did they do now? Right. Is it worse than I think?
What's going on down there now? I go, the ratings, the officer's ratings. He goes, yeah, what's the problem? I go, I'm 7. He goes, what are you complaining about? I'm number 8. I go, that's the problem, Jack. If I was doing my job here on Sheffield Avenue, I would be 8, not 7. Number 8. Right there. That would hate me. You know?
Were you there when Quickie was there?
No. Quick was long gone. I mean,
was he really?
Oh, yeah.
He left there in the 80s, I think.
I think in the 80s, yeah. I met him later. Nice guy.
What about what kid went from my class to there? Pisani?
Pisano, yeah.
Pisano, right.
4-7 now.
He's where?
Yeah, he's a chief.
Pisano was a chief in the 4-7.
Get out of here.
Fact, yeah.
Yeah, I worked with him.
Matter of fact, we had a gas leak down here one day. He shows up. He's got allegedly had a baseball cap, shirt out. I mean, it looked like he just left Sheffield Avenue. I go, hey, Chief, not for nothing. This is the way I broke you in. This is how you come. And he's with all those guys. They're going, who's this guy talking? You know? So it was pretty funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got
chief already?
He is a chief already. I saw him not so long ago. I got another little birdie asked me to ask you about Mexico place.
Oh, Mexico. You got a unit citation for that.
That's what I heard. You got a unit. What was the story with that?
Daytime job. All right. And who's my nozzle man but Bizel? All right. So we pull up. There's a woman up in the window. We got Bobby Higgins from Ladder 103's working with it. The truck, I don't know where they were, but they weren't. They were out somewhere on a run or something. And the door going upstairs, big iron gates. I mean, this guy was
a tire guy, right? You used to call it the Mexico place. But it was a tire guy.
He used to run store, local, bring your brass from the cemetery. We'll take it. So there was no getting upstairs. We stretch a line to. I mean, the fire's in his store here, and there's like gasoline. Who knows what's in this place? So Bobby and another guy throws up a ladder. They get her out, and the truck search somewhere else. They get the door open for us. All right. And Joe Buck, who was a senior guy there in the truck, we shoot in. All right. And we go in there, and it's black. I mean, it's bleak, And I'm like, it's starting to come down. I go, Joe, open the line. So we hit it. We're knocking it down. And I think we just got lucky because Joe Buck says after we went in there, he goes, Rich, right after you guys went in there, all of a sudden, all the smoke and everything started drawing back into the place. He goes, I never saw anything. And he couldn't get the gates. He was having trouble with the window gate and stuff. So we just did one door, And we ended up getting a unit citation. We got the woman out, put the fire out. I think they rescued some other people, and that was Mexico's fire. And then I think I tried closing them down once too, throwing them out. But
I heard that story about you. I heard you were
a BI Nazi,
Magnum BI. They used to call you. That's
Magnum BI.
I was the BI guy. Yeah.
Really?
Well, that's so funny because Profano was the opposite of that. He never did BI.
We had to run one time to Sutter and Penn, phone alarm for fire, blah, blah, blah. So I checking it out, drugstore on the first floor. So I go to get in the gate. I'm ringing the bell to go upstairs, check it out. So one woman comes down. There's a big iron gate. She's got a handful of keys, and she's trying to key in the door to open this gate for me after she opens the door, right? It's like 10 to 6 at night. I just came in. So she opens the thing, right? So I let me walk through this place. We walk upstairs. There's stuff. They had a clinic on the second floor. There's some chair and stuff parked there. I get into this woman's apartment in the back. She's got padlocks on the window gates, And the front guy is a heroin addict. I could tell he's a drug addict. He's got paneling all over the place. The place is a disaster, right? So I go to the guy. I call down the guy. And say, "Hey, bring up the VO book and bring up the bolt cutters." So you know what I get from the men? Jesus Christ! Do it again. What do you want to do? Throw everybody out of the neighborhood? I said, listen, you're all on overtime. I don't know what to say. Get the cutters up here. Get the VO book. Boom, boom, boom. So I was working like the next set of day tours. I made it like a forthwith, like get that lock changed on the front door, and we bolt cutted the things, for the gates and everything. And the woman in the back, 2 weeks, almost to the day later, we got a second alarm now. We lost the whole top of the building. Pete Toohey said he took the roof. The flame shot up 20 feet in the air. I came in and relieved Mike Donovan that night. He was white. He said, Richie, I thought we were going to lose 3 guys here. Stagpole grabbed the guy and threw him down the stairs. If he didn't, he would have, he was spinning around, lost. He says he would have been dead, And, the guys down, up, they had a burst length. There was a lot of problems there. So what ends up happening is Jobs, did the right thing. But it was funny later on, one of the rescue guys, I guess, was up on the second floor, and he said, man, those guys at 90, 103 or something. They're all burnt. They come rolling down the stairs, come tumbling down the stairs. They dust themselves off, and they go back up. For fire, they have no chance of putting out. It literally, they knocked the whole top floor off, So lo and behold, a week later, one of the guys comes in the office to me, a couple guys, said, Lou, how did you know? How did I know? Yeah, that we didn't take the locks off the screens. Maybe the lady's dead now. If we didn't open up, have the lock changed on the front gate that she could open to get out. I said, the drug dealer on the top floor probably started in his apartment. I said, how did I know? So
I've been working on the earth for a couple of years. That's how I know.
Always dealing with the men was fun,
Yeah. Petey, show we got a picture of 290, a couple of pictures of 290 with the guys.
We do have. Well, there's that one picture of the fire we really should talk about. We don't want to skip that.
Well, we're not going to that one yet. Hold on. Go
right.
to the big.
Stand by.
You know what's funny, Rich? I go up to the division one day to see my brother, and I'm sitting there, and the division commander comes over to me. He says, do me a favor. I know you're friends with Frano. Could you talk to him? Tell him maybe once in a while do BI. All right.
I hear you.
Son of a bitch. So who do we got? We got who's that? Berengia sitting next to you?
Yeah, Johnny V, Dwayne Wood.
Oh yeah, Woody is right above me,
Where
right?
is Wood? Where is he? I don't see him.
Mike Brady.
Where is Wood in this picture?
On the right,
Wood?
second row.
Holy shit!
That's Briley, isn't that Briley?
Jimmy Briley,
Spadaro.
Tommy Cohen, Mahoney.
Oh yeah, Mahoney. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's Mundinger on the back left there, isn't it?
It is Mundinger. Wow, skinny Mundinger.
Yeah, he was probably almost a probie then. Another guy that was a natural. And then naturally, Timmy Stackpole, Jack Mooney, and me, you know. And
where's that other picture, Pete? We got another picture at the rig.
I think that was Memorial Day in Manhattan.
Right below that one.
Yep. That's 210 though, isn't it?
No.
That's
Some of the guys from 210.
that's yeah, right. That's
you got Schwicke, you got Gershbeck, you got Larry O'Donnell. Larry O'Donnell, the strongest man I've ever.
Where's Schwicke in that?
He's the one with the big head in the back.
they always used to say, "Well, would you rather have $1 million or Schwicke's head full of nickels?"
Oh God!
Then, myself, Mike Carbone, and Mike Donovan.
Well, what happened to Bizel? It looks like he's blowing up there like a tick.
Yeah.
Watch out! That button might hit you in the eye from here.
Projectile.
Holy Christ.
Joe used to go in for pants. They say, "Yeah, give him 44 short, cut him off at the knees."
Petey, the picture with the two guys and the three guys. With Larry.
Kenny Connolly, this one.
Yeah.
Kenny Connolly, my neighbor, worked in 111. Just a quick story about him. When I got assigned to 290,
The Duke, right?
Yeah, the Duke. I go over to Kenny. He's still working. I go, "Hey, Duke, I'm assigned to 290 now, 15th Division." I said, "You know what that means?" He goes, "What?" I go, "One day I'm going to come to 111. I'm going to be your boss."
Oh.
He goes, "Richie, that'll be the day I quit."
Hey, Rich, why do they call him the Duke?
I guess because the Gordon Bennett, the Brooklyn Citizen,
I mean, every guy who's come on here from 111 has talked about this guy.
About the Duke, yeah, man.
Oh my
God.
Yeah. He had a nice run. I think he collected 2 or 3 pension checks and passed, but yeah, he was something else.
Oh, he's no longer with us. He passed the Duke.
Yeah, he actually died he died the year of 2001 in May, and I didn't know it until later on that he was born on 9/11. Talk about crazy.
Wow.
We go to the funeral, all right, and none of this was planned. The headstone, he's in plot 111.
No shit.
Is that something?
Pretty cool, man.
Is that something? That was crazy.
Wow.
Hey, look at that young guy next to him.
Yeah, you were looking good there, man. You don't look like the scarecrow in that picture.
No, I was starting to bulk up there. Well,
Starting to bulk up.
And this next picture.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
all right, Kenny again, me in the middle, and Jimmy Connolly, Kenny's nephew. For most of the guy, anybody who's in job, for a while knows that Jimmy's father, Kenny's brother, got killed in the early 70s. I think he was working in one of the squads. I don't know which one, but he was a lieutenant in one of the squads and died line of duty. I was a young kid.
Jimmy, he's a chief in the 50 now, I believe, on Hillside Avenue.
Yeah, I think
He was the 103 guy.
Yeah, he was in 103 for a while. Yeah, 235. Hockey player. Great guy.
Good hockey player. He was on the hockey team for a long time. I remember him. He always used to fight. He was always fighting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Him and Frizzalone.
Hey, you don't look like the skinny scarecrow there, bro. You look like you bulked up. Oh, shit.
Oh.
Hey, Rich. Hank Mollet was asking, did you work with what did he ask? His name was John Cox in 290? No.
Cock man. No, I didn't. John Cox was, I think, long gone, when I got there, But yeah, I heard a lot of John Cox stories,
What? All right. So I got another little birdie.
What do you got?
Asked me about a dice game in the back of Tooey's truck. They made huge, big dice to play.
The dice game. All right. The men
Allegedly could have been.
Men are geniuses. I got to give them credit. They're geniuses, right? They spent the whole day with aluminum foil and adhesive tape. All right, adhesive tape. They made dice. All right, big dice. All right, they're squeezing this thing to a square. Blah blah blah. Right? So they start running a crap game, right?
Allegedly.
In the kitchen, allegedly, right? So Jack Mooney comes in the night tour, right? He comes up into my office. He goes, Richie, the men are running a crap game down there. What the hell? All right. He says, Richie, what are you doing? I said, Jack, I went down to try to break it up. They took all my money. Right? I said, what do you want me to do? He looked at me and he just walked out of the office. All right. But I'll be damned. Those dice, they roll just like real dice.
They could have been loaded. They could have loaded that shit on you.
Aluminum foil in a square. They were pushing in a vice. They were covering this thing.
Never underestimate the ingenuity of the brothers, bro.
Oh my God,
Jimmy! Mike Carbone used to say, "The men are delicious."
That's a great line.
I just got another quick story about the men. I used to play this game with them because you gamble with the men. They like that. So
we use the term loosely when we say men.
I gamble.
I called it hydrant roulette. What was that? You say?
I know what it is.
What I used to do was I put 4 pieces of paper in a jar, 0, 15, 25, and 40. Right. So I put them in a jar. I said, "Okay, guys, who's going to pick?" And they go, I'll pick. I said, "What is this all about?" I said, "Well, if you pick 0, we don't do any hydrants." I said, "You pick 15, blah 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 blah, 40, right?" Well, these numbskulls, I'll tell you the truth, it was almost like I had it rigged. Every time they picked 40, 40, all right? It got to be so bad, all right? One day I come down, I got a cup. They go, hydrants? Meanwhile, we didn't even have hydrants, all right? But I put all zeros in the jug, all right? I got all zeros in there, all right? Who's going to pick? I'll pick, Lou. They picked 0. Well, the men went nuts. We got you now, dude. We got you. We own you now. All right. I'm trying to be sad about it, like, oh, geez, I lost. Meanwhile, I am laughing.
You're helping them out, right.
These idiots think that it's legitimate. All right. So, lo and behold, another couple of weeks, 40. All right. So we're sitting in the back. This guy Jimmy's driving me this day, right? So I go, okay, boys. I got the numbers in the jar. Who's going to pick, right? So one guy's going to pick. My chauffeur goes, "You're not picking today. I'm picking. You're unlucky. All we do is pick 40s. I'm picking, right?" So I go, "Okay, Jim, you want to pick? Here you go," right? He picks 40 hydrants. So he goes, "They're probably all 40 in there." So one of the other guys, this guy George Glunday goes, Jim,
big man.
Duemig runs an honest game here. He says, "I'm telling you." He says, "No, George, I'm telling you, they're all 40s in there." All right. So he's going to grab it. I put my hand on it. I said, "All right, Jim, I'll tell you what I'll do for you. If they're all 40s, we don't do any today. But I said, if they're not, and they're like I said, we do 80 hydrants." Right? So George is sitting there going, "Jimmy, don't do it. I'm telling you.
Take the 40.
Right? He grabs the jar, reaches in, throws them on the table, picks them up. 25, 15, 0. I go, "Let's go, boys. We're going out." So they go, "Come on, we got to go out, get these hydrants done. We got to go get lunch, all this stuff." I said, "Whoa, take it easy." "Where you going, Lou?" I said, "I got to go get 40 more cards." Right? So now Jimmy's driving me, and Larry O'Donnell, I don't know if you know him, he's got these 2 probies, and he's at every hydrant, and Larry's a great guy, and he's talking these probies, and Jimmy's looking in the mirror. How long is it going to take him to do 1 hydrant? Right? Jimmy jumps off the ring, takes the ring, get on the ring, So I let him off easy. And then Jimmy comes back on. I go, not bad, Jim. You only got 78 more to go.
Rich, you know what? I took your when you retired. I took your spot. You know, the guys always used to ask about the roulette all the time. Yeah, all the time.
It was unbelievable. So I let him off easy. I think we did 40, and that was it. But you got to love the men.
Guys are in the chat. They want to know about your lifts, bro.
Before we do the lifts, hold on. There's that big fire.
Oh, let's talk about the big fire quick.
Yeah, this happened at 290. This guy right here. Holy.
I'll try quick, and I guess everybody in the chat is going to go, no way. Okay. Well, 290 and 111 and the 3-7 battalion are on the second floor rear, right where that fire escape is, and at that fire. What ended up happening there, we got in there. We were at another box. We got in at third due. It was, well, you see it's still dark. I don't know, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, whatever it was. So we get in there and 231 and I think 283 backing them up. And we stretch the line. I said, come on, we'll back up 231 in the Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I go in there and it looks like it's in the seal and they got it. I go, they don't need us. Let's take the line out, So we take the line out, and Jimmy Rogers calls me on the radio. Richie, where are you? I said, I'm out in front. He says, you got a line? I said, yeah. He says, come around the back. We got a portable ladder. Come up to the thing. We're working on a door to get in the second floor up here. Said, okay, all right. So now I think it's a second alarm, and some lieutenant said, I said, hey Lou, I said, you want to give me a hand? I want to get this line. We're going up the back. We're going up a portable ladder. Going to the second floor. The guy doesn't say a word to me. He just backtracks away from me. He don't, nothing, absolutely nothing. So I go, I guess you're not going to help me. All right.
Because he could see that it's out 17 windows?
No, this is before it goes out 17 windows. It's just, it's horrible. It's in the exposure. So we bring the line back. I get up there, quick story. Jimmy Rogers and the boys, they're getting this sheet metal off the door. It's like a fire tower, right? So a staff safety chief comes up the ladder, and he's in my face going like this, Lieutenant, and he's pointing to the building we're standing on, which I'm looking in the windows. The whole second floor is going. This was 2-story. The corner building is 3-story. He goes, Lieutenant, I'm ordering you, do not go into that building. I said, okay, Chief. So with that, he starts going for the portable ladder. The truck gets the door open. They get this, the steel door open. All right. The guys are yelling at me, come on, Lou, we got to get in there. I said, and they said, Lou, 111's crawling around here. We got to back him up with a line. And the chief is now going down the ladder. I said, could we at least let the safety chief's head? All right. He goes down. Bizell was with me. I had a probie and a senior guy. We jump in the window. We're moving in. Patty Buchanan's the officer. Captain was ABCing. He was Charlie McGrath. He was in there crawling around with them. I don't even know where they came from, how they got in there. So I get up there. We got the line in there, and we're trying to hit fire. We're trying to hit it here. We can't make a move on this. I'm like, where is everybody? What the hell is going on here? All right. With that, 2 seconds later, a rescue guy is behind us. He goes through the floor. And the only thing that saves him, he puts his arms out. If he went through that floor, he was dropping 20 feet. All right. And I think it was actually Dave Ossieri, who was a former 103 guy. So with that, we're up there trying to hit fire. The nozzle man tells me, hey, Lou, I'm out of here. I got to go. Joe said he ran out of there faster than Carl Lewis ran at 30. And now I end up with the
doing a great job.
Fires everywhere. And now it's rolling up behind us overhead. The police got now drag him down to the floor. Finally, Pat went off to the left, and I felt good because I knew where everybody was. So I said, Pat, I don't know. This is ridiculous. I think we got to get out of here, So with that, there's a Mayday comes in, all right? And what happened was Pat Buchanan came over to this window at the fire escape, stuck his head out, and the whole, now it's a third alarm, units, the chiefs are all there at the table. They go, oh, my God, there's a man trapped up there, all right? So I think I said to McGrath, who's the Mayday for? He goes, I think it's for us. Charlie he said, back it out. Let's get out of here. So I tell Pat, listen, we're done here. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. So I back out to like where the hole is, but I felt good. I knew where everybody was. I knew where the irons guy was, the can man. I knew where Pat was. So I'm staying there because I got a feel for everybody, and I'm at the hole. All right, brothers, come on, boom, boom, boom. We get out back out in the fire tower. We get off the roof, and then the whole thing lights up. Story about this: after the fire's over, Jimmy Ellison,
Yep,
right,
11 rescue 2,
in a bucket. He says to us, I crawled through the whole 3/4 of that top floor. And he said, I was lucky. He said, the whole thing lit up and I ran and dove out the window into the bucket. And I'm looking at this going, really, Jim? And I'm like, okay, he probably did. All right. So if you want to ask him about that fire, he was there.
Crazy. Yeah.
So fires, we're taking up. There's a third alarm now. And I thought we were going to lose the whole block. We were at a time in the job where it was like, everybody out. They weren't too heavy on, putting fires out inside. So the fire's, still going on. I'm looking for a place to get in. Artie Messbauer, who was the chief in the 3-9, hunts me down and he goes, Richie, you are in serious, serious trouble. He said, you went against an order of a staff chief. Never mind, he's a safety chief. He said, man, I can't help you here. He said, you're in trouble. All right. I said, oh, chief, hold on a second here. He goes, first of all, my first thing was going to be, he was pointing to the exposure, chief. I didn't go in there. I went to what I said to him, I said, chief, 111 was in there with the 3-7 battalion. They come crawling through. I said, I had to go in there and protect them with a line.
Protect them, of course.
Let's goes like this. He goes, is that your story? I go, that's the one I'm going with today. All right, right over there in the store, right? They get a hold of Kincannon, all right? Now they want him. Said, what were you doing in that fire building? Boom, 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 boom. He says, I wasn't in the fire building. I came from the exposure. Somehow they went through the exposure. There was an opening to get into this.
Oh, got into the other building? Yeah.
They came up. I'll tell you the truth. If 103 doesn't get that thing open, they're in serious trouble because the fire was in exposure. And Charlie McGrath's with him. So Pat throws his case on like, we came to exposure. Now they go looking for the 3-7 battalion. Say, Charlie, what were you doing? And he goes, whoa. He said, I just went up with 111. So I was saved. Everybody was saved. And the picture I sent you was given to me and Bizel and Pat Kincannon from Charlie McGrath. And he says, remember this night, Rich? He was ABCing. What a great guy Charlie McGrath too is, But that's the story of that fire. And I said after I saw that picture, I'm going to tell guys here, we have 290. Yeah, we were back there 111. They're going to go, yeah, right. No, right. But that's the crazy story with that,
So I heard the first, we'll move on to the lifting part. Okay. So I heard the first lift was something to do with somebody who was on light duty.
Oh yeah. No, that's I had to pay a small price for charges for that one.
Oh, all right.
I didn't get lifted for that one.
Oh,
I was.
You got lifted to Staten Island
that was
99, September of 99.
The charges were 3 months after I got there. I didn't even meet the division commander. I met him like 2 months after. And he goes, "Hey, welcome to the division, Rich. Hey, you're the guy who just got hooked up, didn't you?" What happened was they had that thing where you had to, you came to the firehouse. You were supposed to take building cards. You were supposed to do this, do that.
Like a light duty gig.
So here's how it worked out. I come in. Big Daddy is coming up night tour. He gives me a quick shuffle like, Rich, Lanigan's here. The men got to cover up. I'll see you. And he shoots out. I go, what the hell did he just tell me? All right. The men have it all figured out.
Oh, they suck.
The beeper. They're going to call him, and he's going to come whenever we need him. All right. So they're trying to, I said, listen, first the chief calls me up around 11, 12 o'clock. Rich, Lanigan there? I said, no, chief, he's out. I got him out, blah, 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 blah. Right. So he goes, okay, I got to check on him. Have him call me, So I go,
that's the guy on light duty.
The guy on light duty.
Go ahead.
I said, guys, get a hold of him, get him in here. So you know what happens, right? Lou? Yeah, we can't reach him. We've been trying all morning. We can't get him. All right. I'm like, boy, you guys got this figured out. Good, right? So what ends up happening, the 3-9 comes over, great chief, the battalion commander. He goes, Rich, produce this guy.
You put me in a pickle here. Right.
I'll sit here till 7 o'clock tonight. I need to see him. All right. So I'm like, and he says, I'm going to tell you one other thing. I was told under no circumstances do you protect this guy. So I'm like, I can't let a guy get fired or worse. And I'll tell you the truth, I was there for 4 months, and if there was 5 bad jobs, Billy was putting them out for me. And he was the same guy I met the first day. Yeah. But I'm thinking, you know what? He was kind of brash, maybe ruffled some feathers, whatever. So, but I said, I'm not going to let this guy, possibly get fired or something over this. So I said to the chief, Chief, I told him to stay home, blah, 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 right? Jimmy Rogers is in with the chief and me, and he's going, Richie, you can't do that. You just can't do that, So I said, that's what's going to happen. That's what I'm doing, So the chief calls downtown, the staff chief calls me up, who happened to be a former member 113, right? So he says to me, Lou, what's your story? I tell him the story. Yeah, chief, I told him I didn't want him. Firehouse too dangerous and blah, 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 blah. He goes, well, you're getting hooked up. I said, yeah, I kind of figured that, So lo and behold, I get charges. Swicky was there about a week. He doesn't know anybody from anybody, but because his name was in the book for the watch, he gets hooked up. All right. And naturally, Lanigan gets hooked up. And the funny part about it is at a Christmas party, the staff chief's there, and a couple of guys from 113 are there. They get him in the bath. And they said, you hooked up a guy from the camp. Do you understand that? The guy goes, what do you want to do? Beat me up? The two guys said, well, you ought to, you jerk. To tell the staff chief, right? It was a former 113 guy. So an end result was I just waived the trial. Yeah, I'm guilty, blah, blah, blah. Right? The two guys went down. And Swicky doesn't, he doesn't know anybody. He's just like, so he gets, I think Jimmy got 6 days. Lanigan got 8 days, and I got 8 days. But the funny part about it is Billy Lanigan comes back. He goes, Rich, you cannot believe what's on down there. I'm down there at the UFA lawyer, and he's going, that lieutenant should be fired for what he did. And I'm going to the guy, hey, guy, take it easy. He goes, no, shut up. I'm representing you. I don't care about the lieutenant. And he's going on how I should be fired, to letting this guy do this. See, my man wouldn't have done that. So I ended up getting hooked up. We got charged and everything. So that was that story. I didn't get lifted for that. When you're lifted so many times, you kind of forget. Second time was we had a little disagreement with a local company. All right. And the end result was
you have to do it first, do second, do?
Yeah. We were second due. The guy calls on the radio, says, listen, we're going to be delayed. We're out on BI. All right. What does that mean to me?
You're first
due.
All right. So we're driving to this box, and I got a relief chauffeur with me, so on and so forth. I'm looking for a hydrant for him, boom, 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 So finally I go, oh, there's one over there in front of 170. It's a jar. I mean, I could see it from half a mile away. And they're there by themselves, no line, nothing. So I said, pull in over there and backstretch, or maybe the next company will help you. So we stretch the line to the stairs. All right. Guys, I hear the trucks guys groping back there, And what ends up happening, the guy that was first due comes and stretches a line past me. I look at him, I go, what the hell are you doing? All right. Because I'm taking the fire. I go, you're what? All right. So now I got Jimmy Gersh back there as my nozzle guy. I'm worried that this guy is going to go ape on the whole company. And I was nuts. The chief comes over to me, Richie, are you, because it looks like now I came up and I did stretch the line, right? Chief goes, Richie, are you serious here? What's going on? I go, what, Chief? He goes, you got a line there. You're second due. I go, Chief, I was here first. He goes, you were what? So we huddle, blah, blah, blah. The guy says, I was right behind you coming down here. I said, well, maybe you were. I said, did you call me on the radio? Maybe I didn't hear you, and because everything was going on in the neighborhood, I said, listen, if you would have called me on the radio, you know what? I had it pulled over. And when I got back to the firehouse, the men would have crucified me. I said, but you know what? Just to make peace in the neighborhood, I would have done it, you know? So fortunately, he didn't lie. He said, no, because Chief said, did you call Richie and tell him you're behind him? He said, no, but these men saw me. I go, the men saw you? Like 3 blocks away. What are you telling me? So the end result is the chief says, I huddle with the chief. The officer goes away and he says, Rich, you know, we really got to straighten this out. I go, you're damn right. We got to straighten it out, you know? So lo and behold, I guess one of my guys makes a comment to the lieutenant. Fortunately, they were both about the same size. So it was an even match. And he allegedly punched my man in the face. So now it's what do they call it? A Dunny brawl or Dunny?
It's a free-for-all. Was a dog on the rabbit?
One of my friends is a cop there. He goes, Richie, does this happen every day? I go, no, it's not usually this good. You know? The local press is taking pictures.
Oh my goodness!
Of this scramble on the avenue.
That's why you went to Staten Island.
Kevin Schamberger, one guy winds up, and Kevin he swings at him. If he would have hit him, he either would have knocked him out and knocked his teeth out. Besides, you know,
a Donnybrook.
Donnybrook. Thank you. So we end up. Everybody gets separated. Myself, the chief, and the division's there now. And he goes, deputy goes like this. He goes, all right, here's what's happened. He goes, all right, Lieutenant, I want you to hook your man up for, you know, making a comment to the boss. And he says, Chief, I want you to hook up the lieutenant for cracking the guy, you know? So I said, Chief, can I speak here? He goes, yeah. I said, Chief, long before I got here in the neighborhood here, this kind of friction has been going on for years. I said, if I thought that hooking up people would work and straighten this whole mess out, I said, okay, hook us all up, both companies, everybody. All right. So he goes, okay, all right. Don't hook anybody up, you know? So we go back to quarters. Actually, Sal Casano come to the firehouse. I think he might have been staffed. He's like, Rich, what happened? I kind of explained it to him, you know? So what happens? My guy gets sent to 7 engine. All right. Gets lifted to 7 engine. The lieutenant, I don't know what he did. He don't go anywhere. All right. Von Essen supposedly said, Duemig's got to go. All right. I got to go, he says. All right. I end up in Staten Island.
Bizarre world.
Avenue, the furthest place you can go. And I can't work in Brooklyn at all. All right. So I'm out there, straight tours, blah, 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 blah. And finally, I get a reprieve, you know.
Bring you back to the shithole.
Bring me back, and I end up back in the firehouse. But something happened to me out there, too. I was one of the first tours out there. We get a phone alarm for fire, 9 o'clock in the morning. I go in, check out. Thank God it was a false alarm. Because I turn back to the rig. There ain't a guy with a boot on. There ain't a guy with a man. There's nothing, all right? So I'm trying to do this right, you know? So we get back to the firehouse, and one of the guys had said to me earlier, he said, Lou, what actually happened? We heard you knock the chauffeur out. That's what we heard over here in Staten Island. I said, right. No, that didn't happen. So we get back to the firehouse. I get all the guys together. I said, listen, guys, you know where I'm from. I don't want you to think about this as like I'm a ghetto guy talking down here, blah, blah, blah. I said, but listen, guys, to me, a phone alarm for fire, you know, in the morning.
You're be ready to go, man.
We could have turned the block. Said, especially in Staten Island, all right? So the guys took it great. One guy steps up and he says, you know, Lou, he said, we don't do really anything here. And he says, you're absolutely right. We're very lax. I said, listen, guys, I don't care what you do. I'm here, you know, once, twice a week, whatever it is. I just want everybody ready to go to work. They said, you know what, Lou, you're right. Okay. We get about 2 hours later, we get a phone alarm for fire in the store. All right.
Oh, shit.
My boys, they're hooked up, man. They're masks, hoods, gloves. We're ready to go. All right. Coming over the first new rig. It's like it was like a deja vu. What my rig was 2 hours.
What you were looking at the first time.
The asshole guy is sitting on the back step with no coat, no nothing. All right. He goes, what do we got? I go, we got a fire in the store. He goes, what? You know, he's doing 360s around the rig. I don't know where the other 2 guys were. They might have been in shopping somewhere. All right. He's looking. He comes out with a mask and a coat got no helmet. He probably left it in quarters, right? So we're hanging out there. I was only hoping it was going to be a fight because, man, we would have had it, So the end result, we get back to the firehouse, and I said to the guys, did you see what went on there? Did you see what went on there? And they go, yeah, Lou. I says, did you see how all of a sudden you guys walking in? I said, the light bulb went off that he needs to step up his game. I said, then we're all ready. You just need to be ready to go to work most of the time. 90% of our fires are what? One-liners. Come on, be ready to go to work. And I said, see what good thing come out of just you guys dressing? I said, I bet you the next run we get, those guys are going to be ready. Because I told them, I said, listen.
Yeah, it only takes one time to get screwed. Then you're like, screw that. I'm not going to do that.
We're going to put it out, So there's another thing, like I'm going, later on, I'm thinking I'm over there and I can't.
You're supposed to be there.
I'm supposed to be there.
Exactly. I got you.
And it was funny when I first got over there, first tour, the deputy comes, the guy in charge, and he comes in the firehouse. I do a roll call, blah, blah, blah. And he's kind of sheepish, like he don't know how to approach me because I don't know what he heard. Maybe he heard I knifed.
Coobs, what do you say all the time? Telephone, telegraph, telefireman, right? It changes.
Telegraph, telephone, telefireman, bro. You never know.
So I said, Chief, I don't know what you heard, but you're not going to have any trouble for me, and I'm going to do what I have to do over here to make it right. He goes, it was like he took a sigh of relief and breathed good, and he goes, oh, Rich, I'm so glad to hear that. He said, I heard all kinds of stuff, but he said, I spoke to Bobby Mosier, who was a deputy over there, and he goes, Bobby said nothing but good things about you. He said he worked with you in 248, and he said, you're not going to have any trouble with Richie, Finally, Bobby got me up north, a little busier. I ended up in an R group, so it ended up being not so bad, But I was working in a truck company. I ended up working New Year's Eve in 2000 when they thought everything was going to happen. All right, so they were one of those companies. If something happened, so I said to the guys, "Listen, what do we do? If we get a hazmat incident, we're going to happen to Manhattan." The guy goes, "Lou, you don't have to worry about that." I go, "Yeah, but we're one of those units, aren't we?" He said, "Lou, if we get one of those anthrax things, something like that, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here and put an axe right through the front tire of this rig. We're not going anywhere, anything like that tonight." So that was my lift to Staten Island.
So, Rich, we're going to do this. I got one little story that I'm going to do, and I'm going to give you your couple of minutes. You wanted to talk about something,
right?
And then we'll do the old school tip of the day, and then we'll start it out.
All right.
Who is actually the founder of the old school tip of the day, bro?
Rich is the actual person who we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
all right.
So, Peter, you got those pics for me. So, little birdie got a hold of me and said,
where are you getting all these birdies?
Not a birdie. Could be a little fat little birdie, short maybe.
Okay.
But he had
rhymes with Schmeizel.
Uh-huh.
And when you retired, when you were doing your Magnum BI impersonation, you supposedly went after the only honest working man in the whole area of East New York. So the men wanted to, basically, what's the word? They wanted to support him. So they went over to the hot dog guy.
Right.
And they ate hot dogs. And it says there, what does it say there? Happy retirement, Lieutenant Duemig, a.k.a. Magnum BI.
Yeah.
We got all the pictures there, too.
They had a covering.
In that picture right there, too.
They had a covering officer drag them to every place I vacated, any place I wrote a summons, all this stuff.
So you wrote a summons for the hot dog guy.
Yeah, well, this is a story with this. The guys will deny it, all right? The guys, I got a thing in the bag or something that came through the bag, a complaint that this guy's got a propane thing on his truck, all right? So Ronnie Cartuccio, great guy, just passed away. He was a captain of 232. He was, fireman in 103 and battalion 39. So he comes to me. Ronnie comes. I'm out on BI. He goes, "Hey, Rich, that complaint, the hot dog guy, propane." He says, "Did you take care of it?" I said, "Oh yeah, Chief. I got the guy. I told him, listen, get that propane thing. I don't care where you take it. Take it 2 blocks away. Get it off this truck, And that's it." I said, "Chief, it's all good. The thing is gone. Boom, we're good." He goes, "No, we're not." I go, "What?" He goes, "Rich, you got to give him a summons." I go, "Chief, really? I got to give him a summons. I got the thing out of here. It's not even put in a block of this truck. He goes,
the only honest working guy over there.
he goes, Richie, all right. Whoever sent in the complaint is probably one of these pizza shops. Some don't like this guy here. They're gonna want to know what we did. You need to give him a summons. I go, okay. So you know what happens to get back to firehouse? Duemig's putting the only guy working out of business over here. And I'm trying to tell him that Ronnie told me to write him a summons.
The only hard-working guy in East New York.
The only hard-working guy in East New York.
Go back to that picture with the guys eating the hot dogs for a second. Yeah, that's Bizel when he sent me that. So that's Fanny's on the right, top right.
Fanny was there. Yeah. All the boys were there.
Sarah Mundinger.
Somebody said that they actually saw this guy in Abu Ghraib prison once.
You have any more little birdies talking to you?
I mean, I got, I got plenty of time, but
wouldn't be right not to talk about my stay in 290 without talking about an accident. So just a quick, we get a response down towards Canarsie. I pull into the block. There's 3 cars on the block, 1 double park. They're all in the same location. So I go to the chauffeur. I said, stop the rig, pull over. We're backing up. He said, no, Lou, I can make it. I said, not tonight. You can't. Not tonight. Pull the rig over, back up, right? With that, some red flash comes past us, and all of a sudden I hear, boom, boom, bing, bang, boom, all right? The men say the faster you go, the rig gets narrow. Right. So we take in about 3-4 boxes. All of a sudden I get a call on the radio, 290, respond back to Hinsdale and New Lots and meet the 4-4 battalion. I said, okay, go back there. So I get there, and the chief in the 4-4 is there, who I worked with all the time. He goes to me, Rich, and he's there with a lady in the middle of the street. And he goes, Rich, this lady says that fire truck hit her car. I go, Chief, I didn't lay a glove on the car. I never touched it. I didn't hit a car. And she chimes up and goes, no, Chief, it wasn't 290. It was that one with the big ladder on it. All right. So the chief goes from like this to me. I go, Chief, let me ask you a question. What the hell would 175 be doing all the way down here? All right?
Allegedly.
No, 175 is the next truck company up here. All right. He looks at me. All right. And the woman's standing there, and he points his finger at me, and he goes, Richie, get on your rig and get the hell out of here. Meanwhile, the guys are coming out the rig. I go, get back on the rig. What's the matter? Get on the rig. We gotta get out of here. He's gonna kill me. And we get back to quarters. I go, hey, 103, I just saved your bacon over there on Hinsdale Street.
Did you actually see this rig hit that truck?
Oh man, I'm telling you. It was them causing all the damage, and we used to get blamed for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I get lifted at headquarters for when we had 4 accidents. 3 of them were covering chauffeurs and covering officers, but it was our fault. We intimidate people, the chief told me.
Oh, I heard that about 90.
That was the lift. So I told him I'm not going. When I got lifted there that time, which was just the day before 9/11, I had a big meeting with the chiefs, and I go, you know what, Chief? I said, I'm done. Why don't you send your sons over there? I want to see how good they do on Sheffield Avenue. All right. I'm going on and I'm rambling, right? And I'm saying, I don't care what are they going to do to me? Going to kill me? I don't know. So they must have thought I was going off the rocker, right? So I said, yeah, Chief, you guys were covering through there. What did you do? I want to know what you did.
Most of those chiefs actually did cover through there.
I know. So I said to these 2 chiefs, I go, you know what? After I got promoted, I think you guys would have been happier if I sat in the yard with the men, drinking beer, having a few laughs. I said, maybe that would have made you happy. The guys look at me and they go, Lieutenant, get up and go in the back and report to the safety chief in the back there and start writing a safety bulletin. Meanwhile, one of the accidents, a covering boss and a covering chauffeur, they wrapped the pole on Livonia Avenue. All right. They call up the shops. He barely gets the rig back to the firehouse. He calls up the shops and says, hey, shops, listen, could you pull a dent out of the rig? So they come over there. They drive over there. The guy looks at the rig. He goes, are you serious? Meanwhile, the guy didn't report nothing. He goes, are you serious? This rig is totaled. I got to get a wrecker here. You're done. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, we intimidated that guy. I intimidated that guy to take out a spare rig and not report it, So that then the whole 9/11 thing happened. We were there, and it was just by the grace of God. we were trying to get pushed into the elevator with all those guys that went over there that aren't here anymore. And Mike and I almost went with Sal Casano, and he said, no, wait here. And so it was just luck that Mike and I and John Sudnick and
no doubt
killed. I mean, and it was funny because we were back in we called division on the 12th. Said, Chief, what do you want us to do? We report back to do this stupid bulletin. The division goes, guys, just go back to the firehouse, right? We're gone. November, Carbone gets a call. Mike Carbone, Lieutenant Carbone. He goes, yeah. He says, what are you doing? He says, right now I'm sitting on my couch watching TV. He goes, well, listen, you thinking about coming back to work anytime soon? He goes, what are you talking about? He said, I haven't been in headquarters in 3 months. You know, he said, we were back in the firehouse on the 12th. He goes, I bet you're calling Lieutenant Duemig next. He goes, yeah, I got to call him. Mike and I could have been in Pago for 2 months and getting a check and they wouldn't have known it.
Yeah.
So, but
so
before we get to the old school tip of the day, which you founded, you said you needed 5 minutes that you wanted.
Yeah, maybe it won't even be 5 minutes, but
give it to us.
All right.
Stand by, because it's time for.
No, not yet.
No? Oh.
Pick up, Pete.
Hold on.
I thought you said Spider.
All right. I want to talk about a lieutenant, and I'm going to crush his name. It's Ozust. It's Ozust. Ray was a lieutenant in 290 engine, and he died 11/23/71. What the start of the story is, we get every time a letter or something came to firehouse, and then it always end up in my box, and I got a letter from his kid, and said, "Oh, my father was a lieutenant there in the 70s. I was wondering if I could buy some T-shirts and sweatshirts and all that." Well, I just packed up some stuff. I mean, we have a plaque in the front of the firehouse, and we packed up. I sent it to him. No problem. I sent a little note. Every time we come to work, we reflect on those guys on the wall. So I got curious about, how did Ray die? And I ended up talking to one old time, and he said, "Oh, what happened was," he said, Ray was working a day tour, and at the end of the tour, he wasn't feeling good, and he said, called the doctor, and he was waiting for the doctor in the firehouse, and he said, got to be about 7:30, and Ray says, "All right, I had enough. I'm going home." He went home, and 2 hours later, 290 gets a knock at the door, and Ray is dead. He died. All right, never line of duty. Just a tragic thing, and it was funny. I went through the old journals. I got to that week Ray was working on the night tours. I think he went to no less than 6-7 fires. That day that he died, at least 3 jobs. Every man in the engine but Ray went sick. And 71, they weren't using masks. All right. Ray probably died of CO. All right. I felt horrible, And then we got caught with, I think it was towards 9/11, and I got involved. And I always felt bad that I never, ever pursued, because like now recently I heard of a guy who died in 1940, and they're saying this guy died line of duty, and he never was, And I just want to throw it out there that Ray Ozust, I mean, he gave his life for the city as far as I'm concerned, And if nothing else, I thought his name should be on the wall in headquarters and be acknowledged. And every time I go back to firehouse and I get somebody, I talk to him about Ray, and I talk to guys. They said, "Oh, he was a nice guy, World War II Navy vet." I mean, it's just a shame that his family didn't get the benefit of Ray. And I talked to a couple old timers, and it was unbelievable. So I would just like to acknowledge here, even if nothing else happens with it, that Ray gave his life up for the city of New York, and he well deserves at least that a boy. And I'm going to say what we always say on Sheffield Avenue: Ray, you done good.
You done
nice, nice job.
Now I have just one other thing before we get to the old school tip of the day. As we know, we're rolling into 2021, and it's hard to believe we are now approaching 20 years since 9/11. And we New Yorkers and we firemen, we can be brash and hey, run the gamut, like, oh, New Yorkers, but I tell you, I have never forgotten, and the cards, the letters to kids, the toiletries when we were going from one funeral to the pile and back to another funeral, and the letters. And I remember one night I just happened to we used to keep them on a table, and I picked up a couple, and kids from South Carolina, from here, from Columbia, and kids buying us, put money together and bought us fire trucks. And then one day we get around the corner, the kids from Dumont who could ill afford to bring money brought a jug of change, to the firehouse. And the guys go to me, Lou, we can't take this. Let's give it back. I go, guys, I said, realistically, I want to give it back to them, but we can't because they want to do their little piece like everybody else, and they're giving it from their want, So dare I say, 20 more years will pass. And as long as one of us New Yorkers, firemen that lived through that, we'll never forget.
No doubt, boss. God
bless those guys that I remember people seeing me, oh, you're a fireman, you're a hero. I said, no, the heroes never went home that day. They're the real heroes in this job. So
great job, Lou.
Nice, boys.
Okay.
Now, Pete. Now you hit it, kid.
Is it time yet for the old school tip of the day?
If you got big shoes here, brother, let's see what you got here. I mean,
I only have 20 written down, but okay. One of my old school tips of the day, I want to talk about standpipes. And a lot of guys don't know, and a lot of people didn't know, and fortunately, I learned at an early time in the job. I think a good drill would be to take the guys to a standpipe building on an upper floor, middle floor, and just have them hook up a line and take it to a window or up on the roof and say, okay, guy, charge the line and open a nozzle. And you're going to get quite a surprise when that water doesn't go more than like 10 feet. All right. Because most of these, if the standpipes in the building are not supplied with pumps, it's an issue. And I've had more than a few fires. And I can remember one time I had a fire on 15, 16 floor. The chauffeur was hooked up and the fire was out and we were ready to take up. And I said to the chauffeur, all right, Jim, you could shut down the supply line. And he did. And the guy said, okay, we'll take up the line. I said, no, don't take up the line. And the guy, we're in the middle of the living room there, and he's about, I'm going to say 8 feet from the window. I said, Al, do me a favor, open the line. He opens the line. It doesn't even go out the window. The guys were like, what? I go, guys, if there's no pump in the building, it's got to be supplied. All right. So I'm putting it out to all the chauffeurs, all those engine chauffeurs up there. You have to supply the standpipe. If it's a bad fire, boy, we're not doing anything. You need to supply it because I think, I could be wrong, I think the required pressure at the top floor of a standpipe building is 30 pounds. So unless the fire is on a lower floor, you don't have any flow or any pressure. So be mindful of standpipes. Jump over the fence. Religiously, our guys used to jump over the fence, break the Siamese just to make sure that if the fire was today, tonight, tomorrow, it was painted over, that they'd leave them so that we could get them open because they knew how desperate it was to get water into that standpipe. So that's number one. The other one is I want to pass this along to young guys in the firehouse stuff. Your tour starts when you hit the door, when you come into the firehouse. First thing you should do is check the board if they have one there. Any changes? Is the rig out of service? Do we have a new rig? Is there a vacant building? Is it this? Is it that? A lot of companies, they post it at the front door. Second, before you go back to the kitchen for the 8 hour, before you get that first cup of coffee, before you tell the guy from 113, hey, brother, take up, get your gear on the rig. I talked to firemen that retired. Oh, we all have the same nightmare that a run comes in and we can't find our gear. I was talking to a guy from Miami.
Holy shit. I can't believe you're saying that. I have that repeatedly.
Everybody, I talked to a guy working Miami Rescue last year in Florida, and he goes, yeah, I still get that one, nightmare that a run comes in and I can't find my gear. Okay. One other thing I want to put out is like, and it seems, I learned it the easy way. We went to a fire in a multiple dwelling, and I hear guys bang, bang, bang in the door. So a senior guy, I think it was a chauffeur, the truck comes up and goes, guys, what are you doing? They go, we're forcing the door. He goes, the door's open, you idiots. Why do you think all the smoke is down to the floor? You know? And I think I just got into 248 then. I'm going, yeah, that makes sense. That's what, yeah, why would this be forced? And I, I think it's very simple. If you got a charged floor like that, all you're doing is running down the hall looking for an open door. All right. And the last tip, which actually happened to me too, is we had a fire in the taxpayers on Van Sicklin Avenue, which is right across from the school. Roughly, you might remember them.
Yeah.
We got a fire there. We got senior guys in the truck. So the smoke's pushing under pressure from the store, like in the middle of the block. All right. So the guys stretch a line there. So I'm just kind of hanging out, I don't need me, So I'm going, I take my hand ungloved. I'm going down the stores. About the third one down, the roll down is hot. So I called to the engine. I said, guys, bring the line over here. The truck goes, Lou, what are you talking about? The fire's over here. I said, listen, bring the line over here. 103, do me a favor. Cut these locks over here. He cuts those locks, throws the fire comes roaring out. It was front to rear. It's that simple sometimes, all right? Putting your hand on the gate. I mean, the basements are a little different because sometimes, there's nothing between the boiler and the heat and the grates and the floor for the basements, but it might work there too. But it's that simple, brothers. Put your hand on the metal and you might, it could, taxpayers. It could
smoke out of everywhere.
It could be from one end of the street to the other. Right. So, those are my tips of the day.
Great job. Dude, you're freaking me out with that nightmare thing because I must have that 3 times a week, man.
I'll tell you, Kev, it's funny because I was standing with one of the guys from 90. We were in Florida, and this guy come out with that, and we laughed because we all have this nightmare.
Repeatedly, like always.
Yeah. It's you get to the point like, wait a minute. I'm not working. I'm retired. How can I be working like here? So it is something I think we all experienced, and it was pretty funny when this guy came out with it.
Great job from the GOAT of the old school tip of the day, right there, bro.
Just so everybody knows, Rich was the one who called me. I hadn't talked to him in probably years, and I guess he had been watching the show and he thought it was great. And he had mentioned to me, he's like, you know what? You get all these old timers on here. You should have something where they give a little spiel about something that happened years ago that you don't really hear about anymore. And that's how we came up with it. The next show I did it because
I just got another quick one that just come to my head. 248, we get a fire on the second floor. Lady sitting on the front. Hey lady, where's the fire? Oh, she goes up on the second floor. Lieutenant, what? She's sitting on the calms down on the stoop. He goes halfway up. He goes, start a line, guys. We're all ready to go. We get up there, I had the nozzle. I go in. I'm looking for the fire. There's no truck in yet. I'm looking for the fire. I go in one bedroom, come out. I go in the kitchen. With that, the boss comes up, Phil Gareza, who practically taught me the job. Great guy. He goes, Richie, bring the line back here. And the fire's in this room here. I go, Phil, I was just in that room. I said, there's no fire in there. He says, bring the line back here. The fire's in here. So I go back in that room. Now, I had swept the whole room. No heat, nothing. All right. Go in there. And I look, and now the fire's just burned over the top of this door, and I can look through the trim, and I can see it's roaring behind this door. One room, right? So, long story short, I open the door, put the fire out, right? We get outside. I go, hey, look, can I ask you a question? How the hell did you know the fire was in there? You didn't go in that room. You were out in the hallway. He goes, Richie, the paint chips. What paint chips? What are you talking about? Phil Gareza was a fireman in 112, all right? He said, the paint chips on the floor. If the paint chips are there, you're near the fire. And then when you think about it, you go, I guess that OLED paint chips, I don't know if it still happens now, but the heat, it's got the ceiling, it's dropping paint. You're on the floor. If you run into the paint chips,
no shit,
you're close to the fire. I thought that was terrific. I've never heard that before from anybody else. Still happen. The water-based paint, I don't know, but the oil-based
paint. That's pretty cool.
That's one to throw in your hip pocket. So
there you go.
And listen, guys, I want to thank you for having me on tonight.
Oh, it was great stuff.
I hope I didn't.
Good, always talking to you.
I hope I didn't babble on too much. And,
no, not at all.
I'm sure Mizell hit you up tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to say, I didn't wear a fire department shirt, because when you're in 4 companies, you don't want to disparage anybody.
You don't hurt anybody's feelings.
I got to say, from 224 to 290, I had quite a run. I'm going to say I was blessed with the charges, maybe part of my problem I had a big mouth sometimes. Some of the company lieutenants said I'm the problem over there. One guy told Jack Mooney, Duemig's the problem over there. He started laughing. He comes back to me. He goes, Rich, you know what the problem is on Sheffield Avenue? I go, no. He goes, it's you. I go, me? I said, I'm down in the kitchen. Tearing the men up, fighting with the men. It's me, So we got to laugh out of that.
Nice.
You worked over there. It's just like every other firehouse. It's like 123, 111. I mean, firehouse, the Bronx guys. I never worked in the Bronx, but I'm sure it's the same. We're all over, right? I mean,
yeah. It's bizarre world.
Thank you for having me on. It's funny because I was saying, I was thinking to myself, they had all these heavy hitters on, guys in rescue, stuff like that. I said, the only guy I'm not following is Smokey Joe Martin. Right? They didn't have him. All right. If anybody,
listen, you answered all the questions right. So you're a heavy hitter, bro. You're a major leaguer.
Rich.
So thanks again, and Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, brother. Ruffy, you got any shout outs, brother?
I do. I had this is Joe Kearney's new book. He sent it to me. This is A View from the Backstep Part 2, To the Heights. I believe it's probably on Amazon. So check it out. If not, you could shoot him an email or a message on Facebook. I also wanted to say Richie had mentioned his name earlier, Larry O'Donnell. He was a 290 guy, one of the toughest guys, like Rich had said, one of the toughest guys, one of the strongest guys that you're ever probably going to meet. And he's just going through some tough times right now. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I heard that, Rich, maybe you know a little bit more.
I actually spoke to him, about 2 hours before I came on, and he just came home from the hospital today, and he sounded great. He does have a lot of medical issues. I think they actually did CPR on him like 3 days ago.
Yeah, a couple of days ago, right?
One of the, like you say, one of the strongest guys I ever met. And I told him, I said how to log on, and I was hoping we'd get a shout out and give him some, because he just loved that. I was talking to his son. He goes, "Oh, Rich, if you mention his name on that podcast, he just got to go nuts." So,
Mario, he used to go to like the weightlifting, the squatting and all, back in the day when they had all the contests. Yeah. So, all these guys, he used to say the guys were limbering up, like stretching out, doing all this stuff. He'd be sitting over there with a beer and a hot dog. They'd be like this. Larry O, you're up. Larry O. He'd be like, oh, shit, hold this. He'd go over there, put like this whole thing on his back, go down, up. He's like, here you go. Give me my hot dog and the beer. But
Larry, I missed the time when he went to one of those competitions. I think it was the turkey trot or something. They had this thing on the side. One of the guys told me, and it was phenomenal amount of weight. All right. I don't know what it is. I wasn't a weight lift. I don't know. But I'm going to say 350. It might have even been 400 pounds. Right. So Steve O'Keefe they come back and he goes, "Hey, Lou, you had to see Larry O'Donnell." He said, "You know what? He lifted 400 pounds. And he said, if you blinked, you missed it. That's how fast Larry took 400 pounds. Boom, boom, boom." He said, and then he went back to eating a hot dog and drinking a beer.
You know who was like that, bro? You know who was like that? Richie Schmidt from Rescue 4. Just when he was in 154, my brother, the rug would be in there working out. And Richie would say, "Hey, put some more on. What do you got there? Put some more on." And he never worked out. He would walk in, throw 400 pounds on, bench it like this. Boop, boop. Put it down and walk out. And just walk it down and walk out.
He's one of those guys, Boobs. Like, he's just solid. You could just tell. Yeah. He's just thick. He's a barrel. Yeah. And he's like quickies. Like, he look like quick stuff, Yeah. But
I got a shout out tonight. My man, Bill Belinsky's son, Chase Belinsky, he made this on his own, bro. Now, this is not talent. This is a chip off the old block, bro, right here. He sent this to us. Isn't that awesome? He's a great kid, man. We're going to send him some free shit because firemen love free shit. So I just wanted to thank my boy Chase Belinsky out there. We're going to put that in the podcast room here. So
what do we got Monday?
True North.
True North.
Oh, we got talking about free. We got free giveaways here. What is it? 5 gear bags, Pete? Is that what it is?
It's 5
gear
decon
bags. 5 decon bags. Throw your gear in there before you go to a detail, or before, if you're going home as a volley, keep them in there. If you're not worried about yourself,
That's
one
gear bag per entry, not
not 5 of them. Right. If you're not worried about for yourself, just think about if you're a volley, your kids are in the car with you. You don't want to expose them to all that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's all I got to say about that, Ruffy. We got a whole bunch of shit coming up. I don't want to get started because Ruffy gets mad when I start putting shit out there. So.
All right, Pete, take us out, kid.
Well, if you guys are watching us right now, you should also be listening to us over on iTunes, Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever other fine audio podcasts like ours can be found. And subscribe to us there, please. But also, if you're listening to us, you should be heading over to youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience, where you take your filthy booger hook off the bang switch subscribe and the share button. Guys, when you do that, it tells the YouTube algorithm that you like us and that you should be seeing more videos just like this one, right? So it gets us out there. Help us get out there. We'll come to your town, get drunk with you. Who knows what else will go down. All right. Also, head on over to Instagram, where you can find us at Salty Dog Inc.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Mr. Refrano curates the finest, saltiest firefighting photos in the game and gives you last minute up to the second information about the show. Also, guys, head on over to GettinSaltyApparel.com, where you can get the Leatherhead Nation shirt that Muscles Coobs McGee over there. That's right. And all the other firefighter apparel and accessories that you'd ever dreamed of. If you have a question for the show, shoot it on over for our Q&As. Shoot it on over to gettinsaltyexperience@gmail.com. And last but not least, guys, I want to also mention, this is not our thing, but if you head on over to Facebook, Gettin Salty Fans, a few of the guys started their own page. They're up to, I think, like almost 6,000 or 7,000 there, subs, and they share pics, memes, information, and guys are getting together and all that sort of stuff. So head on over to Gettin Salty Fans on Facebook as well to get.
I love when they break my balls. I love it.
And that's everything, boys and girls.
Sweet.
Everyone else.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right, Richie.
Listen, wait a minute. Don't forget the most important thing. New Chief Steve song coming soon. Pete's going in the studio.
Oh, yeah. me.
Yeah.
Lou, thank you so much, Lou. Great stories. Love it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Rich.
All righty.
All right, fellas. Stay low and go.
All right, see you at the big one, boys and girls.
Cheers, boys.